one touch, and I know I'm gonna stay for always.
All right. How's everybody today?
Freaking good, man.
Awesome. Just what I'm wearing is because here in Seattle, Washington, it's all over the news. You know, we had the big coronavirus breakout. So I got my protection gear on from the coronavirus. Got the thick gloves. Got this NASA outfit that's supposed to protect you in space. So I got my NASA outfit on, got my gloves, and Bob, I got a wig on so the coronavirus can't find me because it's all around us here in Seattle.
Yeah, you'll need to grow a beard immediately. If you could expedite that. Both you guys are, well, he's got a half a beard going right now.
I'm halfway protected.
Protected? Okay, because I don't want to be responsible for spreading coronavirus in the UK and Idaho.
Yeah, I'm inland, so I'm kind of protect. I actually have. Well, there's a highway going from or a freeway coming from Seattle. Oh crap! They're coming inland.
So I don't want to ask where you're at, what state, because we don't like people like I don't want to cut my state on there. But are you willing to tell what state are you?
Apparently, I'm next door to Eric. I'm in Idaho,
okay,
so
that's what you need to say.
Yeah.
What part of Idaho?
Boise, Idaho. From? I'm in Boise.
Boise?
Yeah.
Dad's from Idaho.
Yeah, our
really?
father he came from Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah. We have a Mandela effect in our family. Eric and I have a Mandela effect in our family because believe it or not, so our dad was born in Idaho. We know the whole stories of Idaho. There's a Snake River.
Yeah.
He was on a reservation. There's a reservation by Snake River. They lived in a log cabin. This is way back in the day. Our grandfather worked for the government. So anyway, Snake River. So the story, well, my dad's born in Idaho. We know the stories about when he was born. He was allergic to breast milk, so he had to drink out of a goat's. But grandpa had a goat so he could live. So he lived off goat milk until he was old enough to drink and eat regular food. So all those stories about Idaho fishing, the beautiful fishing, the beautiful weather.
If you actually go back on my channel, you'll see when I went sturgeon fishing in Hell's Canyon. Pretty flipping awesome, man.
See, that's it. I'm dying to go there. But here's the problem. It's my dad's home where he was born. Now, Eric's birth certificate and my birth certificate said our dad's from Idaho. He's from Idaho, born and raised in Idaho. We were raised with the stories. When the Mandela effect hit us, a personal one was, I go to Eric and I said, dude, I'm looking at my birth certificate and dad's no longer born in Idaho. What the fuck? So Eric grabs his birth certificate and says, Dad says he's born in Idaho on mine. I said, he used to say Idaho on mine, but it don't no more. Mine says Utah. Huh. So our dad is born in my paper on Utah, and in his paper, he's born in Idaho. And we were both in the military. When you're in the military, your birth certificate, you know, like the back of your fucking hand, at the bottom of your scrotums, you know it, like you just know it. I said, dude, I've got a Mandela effect. My freaking birth certificate changed, and now it's in lower caps, all lower caps, not upper caps, lower caps, and dad's now born in Utah. I go, there's nothing in Utah but Mormons.
Okay. Oh, well, we got plenty of those here.
I go, Dad is now a Mormon? What is this about? So Eric had to go check his birth certificate. Not only that, the last name of our mom's changed to mine was McEwen, and Eric, yours is Evans now.
Yes.
So yours is Evans. Her old maiden name, then she had another maiden name, McEwen. She had two different. So both of our last names are weird shit. Our birth certificates changed. So just on the subject of Idaho, which still pisses me off.
Well, I don't know if I have any Mandela effects from Idaho necessarily, but I'm still looking. I'm still open-minded.
You just keep it open-minded. Yeah, the less the better, man. The less the better. You don't feel insane, especially having a baby. You're having a baby, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. I have a toddler, and now I'm going to have a newborn here in, I don't know, like 8-9 months. We'll see.
What was the name of the baby? Were you going to name him?
Well, we don't have a name necessarily, but we're honing in on a couple names now. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but my wife, I don't know if she'll appreciate this, but I'll say it anyway. So we're thinking Eli for a boy, and what the heck? I can't even. I almost said Mia. Here, give me a second. My brain is kind of flustered right now. Anyways, my wife is gonna kick me right now.
Well, that's fine. No, names are fine. Names are fine. Women don't. There's a traditional thing where you don't name babies up to a certain.
Eli Whitney.
Yeah,
Eli
actually,
Whitney.
yeah, that sounds pretty legit, Brian. This is a world nowadays where you can't really have sexual identity as far as a boy or girl. So let's just kind of go both ways.
Binary. You can have a binary baby.
Binary, baby, exactly.
Binary. What's your baby? Is it a boy or girl? Binary, man.
Yeah, it's very suggestive that you would say that.
Yeah, me and Bob learned the word binary very quickly because we had to take my daughter and her friends to a haunted forest, and I was told not to say girls. You got to say binary. And at first I was like, what the fuck is a binary? What? I wasn't used to that term. Like, what? I got to call somebody binary? I can't say girls?
Yeah.
Non-binary.
You know, I mean, it's hard enough not to say boys, you know, boys and girls. I mean, how do you say, hey, how you binaries doing? I mean, just all right, man.
I raised daughters, man. I have a daughter, and I'm like, she wasn't no damn binary. She was a damn teenage girl with the teenage girl problems. So, you know, the teenage girl punishments.
All the drama and everything. Yeah,
the drama, the whole freaking series, and they didn't know binary about it. I love kids that want to be binary until they get old enough they fall in love. Then they get that crush going on. They're not binary no more. Now they got problems.
It's called baggage.
I don't have a book on binary. I can tell you if you were a normal teenage girl what you would be going through.
And these binary kids, it's so weird calling them binary. One thing about on that Ghost Forest, they're like, where's Uncle Bob? Where'd he go? Did he get captured by the monsters? Because we lost you. And they're walking around. Have you seen Bob? Have you seen Bob? The crazy guy with the beard and the hat in the haunted house.
Well, people thought I worked there. They thought I was the Wolfman, dude. They thought I was the Wolfman. I go, what are you talking about? And the kids are screaming, it's the Wolfman.
Yeah, that's right. They couldn't get out of the haunted house. They were asking you for directions.
For directions, I thought it was the Wolfman. I thought the Wolfman Jack, maybe, but I ain't Wolfman. That was kind of funny.
I would say Santa Claus.
Yeah,
that's the direction I'll go with it.
I like Santa Claus. I'm going the way of grace. So
I don't know if I would want my kids to sit on this Santa Claus's lap.
No, I'm not putting no kids on my lap. You sit there with the elf, and I'll tell you what you get. You get coal because I'm broke.
Hey, I want to shout out to my friend Ethan. I saw him show up over there.
Good.
And I don't know. I invited a few people from my channel. Hopefully, as people are trickling in, some of my subscribers are showing up. So, anyways.
Awesome.
This is your show, dude. This is you.
This is actually our first show doing it on a weekend. So
yeah, I appreciate your flexibility, by the way.
No. You know, we have a set day usually, so people don't really know that we do a show on Sunday. So it's kind of interesting to see that who does show up. I mean, we got 21 people so far that's showing up. That's pretty good. You know, you got the great Brian Stavely on. I see Matthew. Production Oxide. I see Nikita. I see Captain Rankin in the chat. Our good friend Michael Healy that comes on our show, you know, here and there. And I see Rose 777, Betty Wolf, Sean Baker's been there for a long time with us. I love that guy. Love all these people actually.
Yeah.
So they're trickling, so that's good.
Horrible people. Horrible.
So some of the people who maybe Voynez just jumped in. You know, you can't get that crazy fuck.
Oh God.
I know. Now you know. So for people who might, I know a lot of people know you because Brian went on your show, but maybe there's some people that don't know you. Tell us about what you do on your show, just so that people can get an idea.
just kind of a little bit about my background. I'm currently running the channel 4BZTRUTH on YouTube. Now, I use that as a forum for uploading podcasts through Contemplating the Cosmos. I also have Contemplating the Cosmos on pretty much most of the major podcast forums like Apple and Sound. I don't have SoundCloud or Stitcher though. Those are the two that I don't have that I'm about to start uploading there. But pretty much like Spotify, whatever. So Contemplating the Cosmos. I'm really trying to venture down a road with that. Exploring reality for what it is, and not trying to insert our bias or our filter of belief. I'm just trying to shed all that and try to understand things. Now, granted, everybody's going to be restricted by their own belief systems or however they're raised or whatever baggage they're carrying, whatever it ends up being that helps them look through the filter that they're looking at the world through. So as many of you know, I think that we're kind of connected through the flat Earth community, because that's kind of the reason I started my channel. Actually, was to talk to people. Back in 2015, I started my channel talking about flat Earth stuff, but then I never really fully vested myself as far as like I'm a flat earther, because I feel like the whole Mandela effect kind of thing. It's like things kind of shift and change meaning, and it's like you don't really even know what is stable in this reality. So it's like how can you project yourself as a this is my identity kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that's it. You nailed it, man. That's how I feel. Same way.
Your show sounds a lot like what we're trying to do here. We're trying to learn, bring people on, get lessons. Brian, Joey, Roca, Lifting the Lids has been on here, talk to us about, the flat Earth and not just talk about it, give us their evidence on, how volcanoes work on a flat Earth.
Yeah.
How things work. Not just we believe in it. They actually come on the show and tell everybody on why they believe in it. And, then it's up to us, to absorb what we want to absorb.
Yeah. So like, for those that come to my channel, like Lifting the Lid is, I believe, one of my subscribers. Like he tried to pressure me to do more on flat Earth stuff. And to be honest with you, that's just one angle in the big picture. And I wanted to, so like I had a video that I put out there called Flat Earth is My Gateway Drug. And it had like this this flat Earth image with a joint hanging out of its mouth. And
cool.
So basically, the point is, it really isn't my gateway drug. You could say that, the corrupt government or 9/11 or something like that was my gateway, and then you kind of go down that path, or go up the steps of ascension, so to speak, and then you start realizing, holy crap, this world as we know it is not what is being presented to us. And really that's what I've concluded on, is that there is deception and there is things that are being like the wool pulling. It's a world stage. That's just the bottom line. Everything is being presented as a narrative for us to try to or for the powers that be to try to cause us to believe a certain way and kind of follow like sheep, I guess. So so that's kind of been my venture. I mean, I've kind of went away from flat Earth a little bit because I really started researching near-death experiences and the spirituality, the things that actually are the higher level type meaning. And I've really gotten into like the ancient archaeology and things like that. There's a lot of stuff in ancient archaeology that suggests that there was a world order, Atlantis or Babylon or whatever. I mean, there's always been this attempt to create a world order, and I believe that they're attempting to do that more so now, to create kind of this unity or this utopia or something. But that's how they're presenting it. I think it's actually more so like like a prison. They're creating a prison environment to where we don't have any rights. We don't have any. I mean, they're gravitating toward that. So yeah. So I mean, that's kind of the overview of some of the stuff I've been interested in, and I really want to talk about near-death experiences and the spiritual aspect of things, because I believe that there's a deception even coming from the other side. Like you could call it demonic, you can call it paranormal, ghosts, whatever. I don't know. I mean, I think there's different varieties. There's demons and ghosts, or there's demons and aliens, or they're all presenting in certain ways. And to be honest with you, the weirdest thing that I really started looking into was like the archons, or the reptilians that are controlling everything from behind the scenes, and that's really really crazy stuff. But
no, it's not crazy at all. It's everything's on the table, dude. Everything is from here. This place is like, what the hell? No, everything's on the table. I do the narrative to me. I always say I do this for the algorithms. I do this strictly for the algorithms, so we don't get our shit like fuck with. I say in this comic book that we're living in right now, because there are things and situations and coincidences that are like 1,100% chance. It just can't happen that way. It can't.
Yeah.
You can't have this. You can't have this synchronicity at this time, at this one place, at this one whatever. It's just too overwhelming, too many times. So now it's a big ass comic book for me. Like you said, it's kind of a played out narrative. Feel good movie, feel bad movie. And again, I agree with you on. I call them interdimensionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking, like, on one hand, I feel like we're here for a reason. I think that, so if you want to look at it like a dimensional level, like, the 10th dimension or whatever, maybe we could say God's on the highest level dimension. Now, or so like, as far as, the lower levels, I think that we're kind of below what we might call the archons, in the sense that they rule a certain level of like dimensional, whatever it is. I mean, so now if they
talk about people use that a lot, and you know what? Not too many people know about that name. It's a common name and used in a lot of circles. Yeah. So I don't know what archons are. Go ahead and give us explain it to us.
So archons are really just, I think it's either a Greek or Latin word or something. I don't know, but it means I think it means like rulers or I don't know, like it might mean the same thing as like a demon, which means adversary or something like that. Sure. So basically it doesn't necessarily have to be reptilians. It could be aliens. It could be whatever that has whatever agenda that that is negative and trying to control us or whatever, like the Anunnaki or something. They talk about like Zachariah Sitchin was talking about these beings that came from planet Nibiru or whatever. Yeah. But I'm realizing now that they never really left. You know what I'm saying? They've always just been like controlling from the other side. And I honestly think that this realm was created by God, so to speak, and I believe that it's been hijacked by these entities, and they use the laws of physics against us or for us, just depending. And sometimes they present themselves like an angel of light, so to speak. So some ways they might approach you like, oh, look, we're doing all these good things for you, which I've kind of had in the back of my mind about that dream that I had, and I think that's one of the reasons you reach out to me, as far as that prophetic type dream that I had recently. For those of you who don't know the story, I had a very vivid dream about my wife having a positive pregnancy test. And dude, this is flipping crazy. So anyways, I wake up and I'm like, I already know that my wife's not pregnant, but because she's been like talking about how she had a miscarriage like a month before that or something. And anyways, so I told her that morning, I'm like, you should just take a pregnancy test, because I had a really weird dream that it was like real, and whether it is or isn't true, you should check it out. And then she's like, no, I'm not pregnant. So anyways, I'm like, all right, whatever. So moving on. So the next day, she ends up like, it's lingering in her mind like a splinter in her mind, just like, why did he even have to say anything? Now I'm like, yeah. So she ends up taking the pregnancy test, and I'm home the next morning, and she's like, Charlie, come here. Charlie, come here. It's like crazy. And I'm like, what the heck? Like sometimes she gets emotional, and I'm like, are you kind of losing it for no reason, or what the heck's going on? So anyways, I get in there, and sure enough, she has a positive pregnancy test, and it's like, so I'm like, okay, so I had a dream. Is this like some sort of spiritual intuition, or what is it? So I can honestly say I don't think it was a coincidence. I think that something was communicating to me from my dream state. So cool. I don't know whether it was necessarily like God per se, or if it was something that was just communicating from the other side. So
that's cool.
So I'm just going to tell you right now, oftentimes, I admit I kind of, started off where I was trying to validate my perspective of God. And I wanted to, say that, I started realizing that there's a lot of things that aren't exactly the way they seem, even from the perspective of religion. So I'm like, I'm not like, so closed-minded to things that are outside of my paradigm, just because, and I'll admit right now, I'm biased all day long for certain things. I mean, I believe that things were created here, and by whom I'm not 100% sure, but I have a tendency to believe that there's a higher power known as God or whatever. That's what so I believe that, whatever that, whether it was malevolent or not, I just feel like that we are here for a reason. And that's the reason I started venturing down the road of near-death experiences, trying to understand like how people are bringing back stories that are pretty consistent. And have you ever seen the movie Contact?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just recently.
So the weird thing that I kind of noticed the pattern is that, like, when she started getting that signal from space, and then they end up creating that like portal or that wormhole or whatever it was, and then as they dropped her down, she basically traveled through this wormhole or whatever, and so the weird thing to me is like when she ends up getting to this other side, where another galaxy or whatever. She ended up seeing her dad, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the weird thing to me about that is that she saw what her mind remembered her dad as, but these intelligent beings, like aliens or whatever, tapped into her thoughts and basically presented something to her that they thought would be like what she would recognize and be comfortable with. And in some ways, I started looking at near-death experiences like that, because sometimes, when people are dying, they'll see heaven, they'll see Jesus, they'll see like some other religion, they'll see like Allah, or they'll see like, some Eastern religion deity, or, so it starts making me wonder, like, okay, which one is true? People ask like, what religion's true? Why would your religion be true or whatever? And it's like, well, hold on. Maybe everybody that lives here in this realm has some sort of insight or intuition as they live their life. And then they identify to what they believe God is. And maybe that's the way God wants it to be. Maybe he wants us to identify to whatever that culture is. And I start looking at it like, okay, we got a pie. Everybody has a little piece of the pie, right?
Yeah.
And if the pie is all of truth, everybody has a little bit of truth, right? So, but the question that I always try to bring up is like, how much of that is actually deception? Because there's a lot of deception going on, right?
Yeah.
So, so really, I'm trying to weed through what I consider truth versus deception, and I can honestly say I'm more lopsided on behalf, in favor of the flat Earth, right? So I believe that everything the way science presents to me is flat, and we live in a realm, we live in a snow globe or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily reject the thought that maybe it just depends on who the person is. Maybe it is a globe, like for real to them. You know what I'm saying? Or so it really, I know that this, I don't want to seem like I don't want to take a position on this, but but the whole Mandela effect thing kind of presents like it's a, collective consciousness shift, right? So what if there's still like little things over here that are not part of the collective consciousness that's shifting? So they still believe things a certain way, or maybe they see things a certain way, but they don't see it like this group over here. Not necessarily because it's just not logical to them, but it's because they can't see it that way because their brain is not wired that way. I don't know. That's kind of the areas that I've been considering. But again, I'm not like, I'm not saying that is absolute, So what do you guys think?
You're right, because the brain and psychology will debunk a lot of crap. And psychology, all humans want to make things anthropomorphic. So you want to watch a cartoon about a cat chases a mouse around? The cat's inevitably is going to be walking on his two hind legs, smoking a cigar. He's going to look human in some way. You know what I mean? Everybody, the human mind wants to make everything anthropomorphic. So number one, you got to anthropomorphize everything. Number two is the easiest shape to make in nature is a circle. It's the easiest shape to make. It's the number one. It's the shape it makes in nature. So everyone. The second thing is relaxing to the human body is seeing things anthropomorphic. A cat with a human face. Another comfortable thing to see is a circle. The world is a globe. Everything we have is we want to make it easy. I mean, that's instinct. We're lazy, biologically lazy, but we bust ass. But if we had our way, we'd be like fat cats and just eat all day and fucking lounge around. We make things easy. And seeing a circle is easier than seeing a flat surface. Flat surface is complicated. You've got a lot of shit to think about a flat. It's complicated thought process. So nothing is flat. There's always something on it.
So I kind of look at this whole flat Earth thing like it's a shift in, our perception of reality. And when I say it's a shift, I believe that when something was let out. You could say Eric Dubé decided to start looking into this. I don't know, but or whoever it was that decided to let the cat out of the bag. People just got it. It like clicked with people, and at first, dude, it took like 6 months for me to even give it any credence.
That's me. You same.
And I'm like,
I think that's the average person. Person.
But then it got to the really
a little bit of depression, though. A little bit of depression for 6 months. I worked at the Museum of Flight at the
right.
aerospace.
You don't want to believe that the Earth is flat.
You want 6 months, a little bit of depression.
It's like when you watch Star Wars, you want to believe that's real. You want to believe that could be true. Remember the other day I told you I watched The Last Starfighter and you said that was a cool movie? I want to believe that could be true. An alien comes, takes me to space, I save the world. Now the world's flat. That's not true. You can't believe in that.
It was because of that movie that made me feel like I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to freaking I think that in some ways that's the way that's part of the narrative. It's like every kid should want to be an astronaut or look to NASA like there's some sort of authoritative perspective or whatever. But
like what you said there. Maybe the idea of the flat Earth makes people think of the desert. And that's kind of true.
Well, it's not comfortable. Again, thinking of something round is comfortable. Thinking of a flat surface is actually just to play with it with your mind, guys. Think of something round and feel how comfortable you feel. Everything is comfortable when it's round in your mind. It's comfort. Round is comfort. Flat, square is complicated. A little bit more in your head is a little more complicated of a thought process. So it's easier to be lazy. It's really that simple sometimes.
So when I was looking at this, like before the flat Earth thing, I started realizing that it's kind of compartmentalized thinking, in the sense that once you start venturing down this path, you start getting into this, like you're almost like stuck in a box kind of thing, and I wanted to kind of venture outside of even that and say, okay, if there's a bigger picture here, what if we took the bird's eye view kind of thing, and we end up just seeing things here and there, and kind of creating this puzzle, like how the puzzle, when you bust out like 1,000-piece puzzle, you'll just start looking for like colors, and you look for the edges, and you're like, okay, now I'm starting to see some patterns here. Let me go ahead and whatever. So you're really just trying to decode reality for what it is, and really just try to figure out what filter is the right filter to consider everything through, because the reality is you have to kind of, like the whole scientific method, right? You have you have kind of a theory, or you have a hypothesis. Yeah. So you end up filtering everything through the hypothesis and see if it checks out, right? Yeah. And if it checks out, then obviously you have something going on. But the thing is, I've started looking into like, okay, if anybody has a question about one way or the other, they should watch a debate, because sometimes debates, you can hear somebody coming from both angles, and you're like, huh, both sides make sense. It's like, or sometimes it doesn't make sense on one side, and then you're just kind of leaning toward the other way, like you were already thinking. But I'm starting to realize that anything can make sense depending on how it's spun, I guess you could say.
Presented. Yeah. Sounds presented.
Yeah. So I kind of broke away from flat Earth a little bit, saying I don't want to get stuck in a box of thinking, and really, if we're on this plane, so to speak, and there's higher level planes, I almost, the whole spirituality aspect of it, it's like we're wanting to ascend. We want to, gain higher ascension, in the sense of like, okay, there's a lot of like spiritual new age thinking or whatever. You have like say for instance, like the age of Aquarius or the age of Pisces or whatever. Now I started looking into astrology and realizing that there's something eerily similar to can you hear my dog barking?
Oh, it's fine.
I was
we got animals too.
I like barking. I like baby. I like kids in the background. I like barking dogs. And let's be honest,
I'm about to freaking throw something out the window.
No, you're fine.
Shut up. But anyways, no, but so like it was something eerily similar from like the ages, the different ages and shifting of thinking to what the Bible says about in the last days, I will separate the sheep from the goats. So in some ways, there's going to be like an awakening. And now, a lot of people might look at like Christianity or the Bible or something like they'll have a knee-jerk thought like, oh, like spiritual Bible thumping or whatever. And I honestly stopped looking at it like a religious perspective, but more so looking at it like a filter or a lens of an interpretation. And so basically, we'll just say that, if they're presenting like a philosophy, so to speak, and you can it can help you interpret our reality better if you actually see it through that perspective. I think that in a lot of ways, our goal here, and I'll just say right now, is that our goal is to build relationship, care for each other, be selfless, and really, I mean, I've kind of come to that conclusion based on a lot of different perspectives, not just, Christianity, not just near-death experiences, but in the grand scheme, I feel like everything kind of comes together, and like, that's the purpose, is we're here to care about people, take care of the sick and the dying and widows and orphans. And, I mean, what do you guys think?
No, inevitably, yeah. That's the end. I mean, that's what do you want at the end? You want to treat people how you want to be treated. Yeah. So I don't like to be yelled at.
I don't either.
Really?
I'm not going to yell at you. I don't like to be lied to. So I'm not going to lie at you unless I don't want to lose weight, and then they're going to be like, no, you don't look fat at all. Oh, thanks. I didn't feel fat. I look fat. a white we gotta balance ourselves with this whole thing with the PC police thing is we gotta slow that down. Again, there's things that are tolerable and there's things that are not. We gotta we've gotten to the point where religion has become laws. They've just become man's laws. God had nothing to do with the laws in the book. They become men's laws. So, you talk about, it's not that I don't like the Bible or any of these religions. I've studied them. I have a question to do with some of the laws. It's just gone too far. When I was overseas, there were female circumcisions. No, man. No. No. It's a little bit too far there. Female circumcision, there's boys traditionally with whatever. Okay, you can get away with it. You're not losing that much, but there's just things gone too far. There's the Puritan laws, and then there's a lot of this religion, and then pretty soon everybody's going to be locked up. Everybody's going to be in a cage, and that's exactly what they wanted. It's exactly what they got in the United States. So the British are different than the United States. Right now, as Americans, we have a lot of Bible thumping, which comes with a lot of local laws and more extreme in more and more areas. So now we have more prison systems, and we got more, and they're controlled by who else but the Clintons. They own they own all the prisons, so make a lot of millions of dollars there. But it's religion and laws. There's faith in God. There's faith in your God, your religion, whatever it is, and there's ritual for whatever you got to do. And then there's that. You treat others how you want to be treated. But then they come down with the laws.
Yeah.
Shit.
I look at laws like it's a template. So like anytime you kill somebody, what's the outcome? Not only are you ending their life, but there's a lot of repercussions that come from it.
Yes.
And then stealing from somebody. I mean, there's all these different things that literally. I mean, in a society, it just doesn't mesh with society. And I guess my view of what are considered laws, or even like the things like don't eat like pork or something like that. I mean, there's sanitary issues with pork, right? You could get some ringworm or something. I don't know, or tapeworm. But if you prepare it right, or you cook it right, it'll kill the parasites or whatever, and you'll be fine. But I think that there are certain things back in the early laws, and again, it's all subjective, I guess. If you apply it to your life, you're probably going to have a better life. Is ultimately what it was going for, in my opinion. And so, like, say for instance, like somebody who's greedy, somebody who's very wealthy, they're very greedy. And, do you think ultimately they're a happier person, or do you think that they're miserable? Because
I tend to think they're fucking very happy. They have their down days, but for the most part, they can buy their happiness really quick. It's an addiction that they feed like heroin. So if they're rich, you're just funneling heroin, and every time you feel so basically you're dependent. You might
as far as the drug use aspect of it feels pretty damn good initially, but it freaking is going to mess your body up, and you're going to
you're using it. You're using an outside substance to be happy. So I'm broke right now. I'm stoked.
I think that is kind of a good approach to our reality, is to come from it from a weak or a poor perspective, because in a lot of ways that's going to help your just the way you view reality. Because so I think that if you kind of I believe that you should look at the world through the correct philosophy, or the correct lens of interpretation, and that's kind of what I'm venturing to find is obviously you can interpret reality through any lens that you want, but I really think that if we venture to find the correct lens of interpretation, that is not only going to make us happier, it's going to make other people around us happier. It's going to, and if we're trying to rack up a scorecard, for the end, when we have our life review or whatever, when people say, when I was close to death, I saw my life flash before my eyes. Well, that's actually very consistent with near-death experiences. People reliving their life and seeing like how they lived their life, and really they have a transformative experience, and they come back saying, I should have been a better person before. Now I'm going to start being a better person ultimately. And that is the theme of near-death experiences that I've seen, is people come back wanting to be a better person.
Yeah.
And,
soul tokens. They have soul tokens. Like Matt from Quantum Conscious. I just use his words. I like his word. Soul tokens. It's a beautiful word to use. How many soul tokens do you have left? I mean, you're giving them all pretty much when you die. You're like, I got no soul tokens. I was a very mean person, You want to die with as many soul tokens as you can. You did the best you can with what you had. Yeah.
For those that are Bible thumpers, I'm just going to tell you right now. I grew up in that environment, and a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not about works. You can't do enough works," or whatever. And I kind of look at it like it's not about trying to do good works, because that's what the Pharisees project to the world. And, so the whole thing about like, I need to do good works. I feel guilty. I should do something nice so that people will think I'm a good guy or something like that. That is the wrong approach. So if you naturally have, love and compassion for people, that is soul tokens. Like you're saying, I don't think they're legit soul tokens when you're a Pharisee trying to project to the world that you're a good person.
Yeah. Yeah, then you're asking for something. See, then you're the guy that goes out and helps people, but you got to make sure there's a camera so you can be seen helping. You get that. Then you're just being selfish all over again. You're going to help somebody, but then you're wanting something for it. You're supposed to do it of free will. Free will. I always talk about emptying the basket, because like if you empty your basket, we're not talking about being poor. Fuck that. Have some money. Empty your basket as if you're helping others. And then less you have in the basket, and then that's your sacrifice, and God will put something in the basket.
Yeah.
He'll put something in the back. So the universe requires sacrifice. What do you mean, an animal, a baby? No, it means self-sacrifice. And then whenever you sacrifice, I'm looking at the universe putting something back in there. If you truly sacrificed it, they'll put something back there. And I've experimented with that, and I've found it to be true. It will happen at the weirdest times. It will happen at the weirdest time. I for example, I was broke. I was like, hey, I don't pray for money. I'm like, hey, but if you could throw me a bone, because I need something at the moment, and my hands are throbbing. But both my hands are fucked up. So I'm in there working on my scooter. My hands is throbbing, and I look over my helmet, and my medical glove. I have a medical glove from the VA. Was in there, and I lost that thing years ago, and it was not in my helmet. Let me say, it was not in my scooter helmet. So I pulled it on. I said, I put it on. My hand felt better. My attitude got better. I was like, oh, it feels good. And then I'm like, okay, so God didn't give me money, but He gave me my glove, which took a toothache that's gone. So I felt better with that. I said, okay, I'll take it. This is more than me. Then things help coming down the line. All of a sudden, I just fell into something. Somebody mailed me they dropped off a box of vegetables. I'm like, what? And I didn't ask. And so things will come for you when you empty your basket with a good heart. You're giving a little of yourself.
See, I won't give him food. He has to get the sent to him because I won't give him a dime. No carrots, no nothing. I'm joking.
Somebody put a box of fucking vegetables on my doorstep. No, I didn't go out and solicit. I didn't ask for it on the line.
They're trying to send you a message.
Yeah, I was like,
you should eat vegetables instead of donuts.
Yeah, there were vegetables. No money. There was vegetables, potatoes, a whole variety, and fruits. It was a big box of produce. I was like, shit, I live off this for a week easy, man. This is right.
I think Musicians for Truth said it perfectly. Be good because being good is good. It really is that simple. Not need to complicate it. And that's basically true.
It feels good. It feels good. It feels good. Saying something nice to someone and meaning it feels good. Saying something nice to somebody and not meaning it, which just means you're lying, that's not good.
Yeah. I might actually consider it from a different angle. I have, I mean, you could say that it does make me feel good to do heroin. I mean, that could be a good thing for people. Like,
Yeah,
I
never
got my
thought about it
fix.
that way. Feels good.
or you know,
Feels good to pet my horsey.
yeah.
I need to be alone for a minute, guys. I want to feel good by myself. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was wondering what you are actually doing with that horse before we came on the live stream, but just kidding.
Yeah, there's always a balance between what's real and what's not.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that could be subjective in some ways. I mean, obviously, it makes me feel good to be able to share my thoughts on this reality, and I not only does it make me feel good, but I feel like it's enlightening to other people. And and you know, I think that when people are on this road or this pursuit of trying to understand everything that's being presented to us, I think we're not. I think we're supposed to have enough intellectual understanding to discern what is being presented to us, whether it's a lie or truth, and I think that we're given that ability to actually break things down, and when I say given, I mean we are created with the capacity to discern what is true and what is deception. And really, I want to venture into that thought process because, obviously this whole thought of, the world being flat and enclosed or whatever, I think that anybody that isn't aware of why anybody would even settle on that thought, obviously it has to go back to there is a world deception. And, the powers that be are actually presenting a narrative to us. Now, how far the powers actually go? Well, I believe that it goes beyond our realm, our reality. I think that there's something that is trying to manipulate our thoughts and control the narrative. And, if you go back to like early, I don't know, like what's his name? Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley, right? Well, so they he actually had these seance type things, and he actually channeled this like alien looking dude, this gray looking creature or whatever. And the weird thing is, I don't think they were talking a lot about aliens at that time, right? They were talking. That was like what, in the 20s or 30s when that was, maybe 40s. I don't even know the exact time, but and then the flying saucer crashed in New Mexico. And that's when it blew up to become some big old thing, right? And nobody thought about it.
TV, basically.
Yeah. So I believe that the alien concept was made popular back in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. And it became very popular now. So I actually believe that these were never extraterrestrial. They are always extra dimensional, and they've always been here. They've never. Yeah. So for those people that ask, do you believe in aliens? I'm like, well, sure. What's your definition of alien? My definition is extra dimensional, and they've always been here. I don't think they're extraterrestrial. So
dimensional, interdimensional. Absolutely. That's my gut tells it to me to be true. My mind tells everything about it. And even like just the feeling of it feels solid to me. I would take it to the battlefield. I'll fight it all the way through. They feel interdimensional because I've been touched and attacked by these little fuckers. So I didn't see them.
I have a friend that said that he was held down in his sleep by some shadow being. Like he couldn't even see it, but he was being held down by something. And dude, that would freaking flip me out if all of a sudden something was just standing on my chest. He couldn't breathe. He was like flipping out. So anyways, but it's that kind of stuff that so like the thing that bugs me about like the mainstream like near-death experience researchers and stuff, and I'm about to interview like one of the like probably the most famous near-death experience out there, Eben Alexander. He actually he's I'm going to have him on my podcast this week actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so anybody that wants to tune in and listen to that, but so but this guy kind of approaches it like, oh, I got my insight from like my spiritual experience that I had on the other side. And usually when they come back, everybody believes what they were given, as far as the information. But the thing is, it's like, they're not all the same story coming back. So it's like, but there are interesting patterns. So maybe some of it's true and some of it's false. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, if they're giving you a false narrative, then what is it that's actually presenting that information to you? I interviewed this guy, Brian Melvin, and he had a hell experience where and again, my understanding of hell is completely different than when I first started into it. I don't necessarily believe that hell is a eternal hell burning fire, whatever. I believe that there's another realm. It's a lower dimensional or higher dimensional. I don't even know what you want to call it, but it's another realm that is basically where everybody goes that isn't going to a higher dimensional realm. And so basically I think that there's a government system in hell. And dude, this is kind of crazy. Like, so these reptilians or whatever. So this guy, Brian Melvin, he actually went and he was standing before God or whatever. And he was like, I know I'm going to hell. I know that you're going to send me there. And I totally understand why you do that or whatever. And so he ended up going down this freaking pit. And but he was not in like any hell fire per se. He was just in this like realm where these reptilian creatures were actually putting thoughts into people's minds, and they were having these people believe that they were in paradise. And like this woman was like at her grandma's ranch or something, and she was like in a pod, like almost like the Matrix, you know what I'm saying? So like they were feeding her mind with these thoughts of, like she's at her grandma's ranch. That's like her paradise, right? And but then her grandma turned into this weird like demonic thing that ended up like tormenting her or whatever. So it was weird. Like, it almost makes me think that there are things on the other side that are actually trying to deceive us into thinking a certain way. And I don't know. I mean, so like if people are capable of deceiving, I don't know why like demons aren't capable of deceiving, or like something that is interacting with us from the other side. So
I know it. I mean, I don't need anyone. I know there's an evil out. I know it's out there, and I know it fucks with you. I've got it to sometimes there's a pattern. I see it coming. I know it's there, and I'm predicting it. Like, I'll know it's that day. It's that day. They've come and there's too many stupid things happening. Like you're stumbling your toe, you lost your keys. There's a pattern on a day. I've actually had in my own mind's eye evidence when I was doing one of my videos and I was putting in the little tags. You put your tags in. Well, every time I put a tag in, if I put I would put like religious names on there for a tag, just for Jesus, Yeshua. Yeah. I put all these names on there just to have extra on there for power. That couldn't get them in. Mm-hmm. Box would come off, or I'd put J and it would stop. And then I watched the box blink, blink, blink in the corner. Like, it's fucking with me. It's fucking with my touch screen. It's touching the corners. I'm staring at my touch screen waiting for it to stop. There's no ghost in the house. I don't know. And then the day goes forward. The stupidest things happen throughout the day. And I'm like, this is one of them days. This is definitely one of them days, and recognize it. Something's out there, and it's messing with people. Especially around the full moon time. I'm just doing it. It's always around the full moon for me when I'm arguing. I'll argue right up to the full moon. There's no reason to have some arguments sometimes. There's no reason to snap at somebody for something stupid and just making a sarcastic joke that went bad. In your mind it was funny, but it really didn't come out funny for somebody else. But you would never have said it. For some reason you were compelled to say it around that time. And I've always noticed, mark your anthropology, mark your area. I said something pissed. There's an argument going on. Take a look around. Oh, yeah. A day before the full moon. And then I look at my dates, my other ones. Oh, 2 days before the full moon. Big argument on the full moon. Okay, well, there's something to pattern to it. Something around that brings them in.
So I didn't really, talk that much about Mandela effect until I talked to Brian. I mean, I did kind of look into it, but I was a little bit of a skeptic as far as you know, it all goes back to interpretation of the information or whatever. But I kind of wanted to know your guys' perspective. Do you feel like you know, Mandela effect is like a collective consciousness thing, or what's your thoughts on it?
You know what? Let's do this real quick. You guys mind taking maybe just a real quick 5-6 minutes to get our coffee? And during that 5-6 minutes, with your permission, Charlie, can I play one of your videos of the one that you spoke to God in a dream while we take a fast little break?
Sure.
Is that fine? Bob, is that fine with you real quick?
Yeah. Then we'll talk about Mandela stuff.
Yeah. We'll come back and we'll talk about that video and we'll talk about Mandela effect. Just to get some coffee real quick. So let me here, God spoke to me in a dream. Let me put that on. Can you guys see it on your side?
Yeah, I can see it.
I see it.
Okay, I'm going to press play. I'm going to make the window bigger. And then take a break. We'll come back after this video. And then we'll talk about this video and we'll get into some Mandela effect. Okay, here we go.
Hi, everybody. It's Charlie with 4BZTRUTH. Just wanted to give you guys some really amazing news. And I just kind of wanted to give you an update on something. Now, first of all, I just got to tell you, I had some, like, what I call insight from God. Something that was so impossible, if you ask me, unless you look at reality from a spiritual perspective. But anyways, something really, really awesome happened to me and my wife, and I just kind of wanted to share the story with you. So going back to a few days ago, I had a dream that was extremely vivid. So vivid, it just seemed like it was real. And I didn't, you know how you wake up from a dream, you don't know if it's real or reality or a dream. Well, anyways, I basically woke up thinking, this is so real. I feel like I want to actually share it with my wife. And what it was is she basically had a pregnancy test that was positive. And now we had struggled having, babies or whatever.
Keep going.
And after 10 years of trying, my wife and I finally had a baby.
Jax, let's go.
His name's Theo.
Jax.
And I got to introduce him earlier on earlier in my channel. I don't know, like a year and a half ago almost. Actually, it was a year and a half ago now. But anyways, so my wife was convinced that she was not pregnant. And so she had taken some pregnancy tests like not long ago, and they were negative. So anyways, the point is, in my dream, the test was positive, and I'm like thinking, So I get up for work that morning, and it was lingering in my mind. And I ended up telling my wife the first thing, as soon as I got on the phone with her that morning, saying, like, I had a really weird dream. Like, there was a positive pregnancy test, and I really think you should take a pregnancy test. She's like, nah, I already know I'm not pregnant. It just, I know that for a fact. Like, okay, well, whatever. So, anyways, I just kind of let it go from there. And, well, she didn't take a pregnancy test that day. And, but the next morning, she decided to take a pregnancy test because it was lingering in her mind. And she was like, well, I don't want that to be in my mind anymore. Because to be honest with you, it upset her that I even said that, because she was thinking, well, why has he got to plant that seed in my mind? Because obviously we want more kids. So, long story short, it was like 6:37 in the morning, I'm laying in bed still on my day off. And she's like, Charlie, come here. Charlie, come here. I'm like, what? You need to come here right now. And I'm like, what? What's going on? She's like, I go in the bathroom, I see her holding a pregnancy test, and I'm like, what? She's like, what does that say? Does that say I'm pregnant? And I'm like, holy crap! It looks like that's a positive pregnancy test. And she was in disbelief. She's like, no way, no way, no way. There's no way. And I ended up, just saying, well, I mean, let's get some more pregnancy tests. So we ended up buying like all kinds of different variety of these pregnancy tests, and every single one of them were decisively positive. Like there was no like false positive or whatever. So I'm thinking, dang,
looks like it froze, guys. I'm trying to.
It's like, can I honestly say that I had some spiritual intuition that came to me in a dream saying, "Tell your wife to take a pregnancy test"?
I can't.
Well,
I'm gonna have to reboot my computer real quick. Oh, hold on.
Is it frozen?
Tell me what you guys think.
Hold on. Let me see. Maybe I snap out of it? Let's see. Hold on. Oh, hold on. Let me go back to StreamYard. Let me see.
There you are.
There we go.
All right.
I don't know.
Eric's rebooted himself.
What happened there, so we'll stop the video there. I don't know what happened. It just froze. So I apologize.
Put a link to it. Put a link to it so people can go see your video. Or make sure you have the link in it.
I'll put a link in it right now.
Yeah. That way you can always go back, watch it, watch all your stuff. Make sure you put all your information in there. Everybody can see it.
Yeah, I have like 100 videos or more.
Good.
If you guys want to come to my channel and sub or whatever.
I sent you.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. Thank you. So yeah, my first video, I couldn't break like 100 subs or something like that for a while, and then I posted a video that was talking about like basically the brain and near-death experiences was kind of at the end, and it's called Frequency of Light and Patterns of Reality. That's the name of the documentary, but that freaking went viral. There's like, I don't know, 250,000 views now. So that's like one of the main reasons I have any subs at this point, in my opinion. I mean, yeah.
You hit it the nail on the fucking head. According to my studies, because I went to school for anthropology, archaeology, so I'm treating this like a big ass science experiment. I'd say the majority of people on all my notes, I've talked to a lot of people since 2016, and pretty much every one of them, with the exception of a few here and there, have all had near-death experiences. Every one of them. They've had stories of walking out of the hospital, stories of going in the hospital. We've got train wrecks, fucking car wrecks. We've got drownings. We've got people choking. Just so many stories. I'm like, wow. And then Eric and I, don't get us started, because we both have had a lot of near deaths. I've had so many I can't count them.
So wait, are you saying that like you like bumped your head and it knocked you out kind of thing, and you were on the edge of death kind of thing, or
car wrecks? I've been in the military.
So did you actually did you code blue or anything like that, or did you?
I went to the hospital. Eric was in the hospital. I have been in the emergency room 4 or 5 times. No, I've been in there, but I walked out.
Yes.
I've already walked out. In fact, I said in 2006, I joke about people. I worked at the Museum of Flight for years, and it wasn't until I had a heart attack and I had 2 ambulances show up that took me off. They had the whole paddles ready to go. Everybody's freaking out. I'm like, I'm feeling fine, but I had a nasty ass burning pain. But I said, I'm spitting up blood. I'm fine. Hours in the fucking room. They're ready to paddle up. I'm like, get them paddles away from me. I'm fine. Finally, it fucking mellowed out. I walked out, pulled the shit off. I'm leaving. I feel better, and I walked out. But rode a motorcycle, almost got my head cut off.
Dude.
I got stories after stories after story after story. Eric went through a fucking windshield as a baby. That's why he got brain damage. That's why Eric talks the way he does. We've had so many accidents, I can't count them all.
Yeah.
Right now, stupid and being drunk.
Did you ever have like an out of body experience? So like,
yeah.
besides like taking all those drugs, I'm just kidding.
No. Well, I mean, as far as I went at one time was the ceiling. I remember popcorn ceiling. It was a popcorn ceiling.
Yeah.
And my face was at the popcorn ceiling. I'm looking at the popcorn ceiling, and I said, "I'm at the fucking ceiling." I'm saying it. I'm at the ceiling. And then I wake back up. Like, what? I look up, and there's the popcorn ceiling. I was just facing it. I was just my face was on it. I had left my body and went back. But I'm going to be honest with you. Here's my everyone has a cool story, but honestly, all my near deaths was exactly what they were. They were near deaths. Well, I know now that I probably didn't make it, but it was just the situation at the time was more favorable for me instead of dying. So I got away with it. When I first got divorced, I wasn't going to commit suicide. I don't believe in it. I fucking do not drink the Kool-Aid, people. I don't fuck what anybody says. But I had a handful of pills, and I was just going to go excessive. I wasn't going to commit suicide. I was depressed. I wanted a little bit extra on the fucking on the oxycodones. I threw a little extra in there. Some extra pills. I do a little extra in all of it, like a big-ass pill salad. Figured, what the hell, man? What's life about? I wasn't thinking of suicide. Went to take them, and then right when I was going to take them, my dad storms into the bathroom where I'm standing there and pushes me over with the door. I hit the freaking bathtub. The pills are everywhere. Oof. Now, had I taken them pills, who knows, man, at the state of mind I was in.
Yeah.
But, so these situations always got corrected at the weirdest times. Even in the hospital.
So there was some sort of intervention.
So always, it was always like left turn was available. Oh,
hey,
really?
Hey, hold that thought for 1 second. I gotta go grab my dog that's barking next to my baby's room.
No problem.
He's sleeping, and I gotta go. Yeah, hold on.
No, go for it. Hey, everybody in the chat. Michael Healy put a good one. Press 1 if you had a near-death experience. Press 2, OBE. 3, lucid dream. So people put in your numbers. Joey Roca had a near-death experience, number 1. Linda Larkin had a near-death experience. Ethan Scholler had a lucid dream. Voynich 223. Voynich just fucked up. Yeah. Voynich, I'm sorry, man. You might have to give it up, buddy. Just give it up. Just give it up. Nikita had 1, 2, and 3. Nikita, give it up too. Forget about it. You guys have too many of these. Linda Larkin, 2, not 1. So Linda actually had an OBE. Acoustic Lucidity had a OBE and a lucid dream.
Yeah.
So, yeah, everybody had it. You know, like Bob said, I flew out of a car as a baby. Should have died, I guess. I should have died. When I was 6 or 7, I was a stupid little kid where we were parked on the side of the road, and I saw snow across the street, and I wanted to play in the snow. My father told me to stay in the car, but I wanted to play in that snow, so I didn't give a shit. I got out of the car, started walking across the street. A truck, not a regular car, a truck flew down the road, saw me, hit the brakes, hit me from behind. I remember this part. I flew in the air. I flew out of my shoes, hit the road, rolled on the ground, and got up and went to the snow. I gave everybody a heart attack, and I think I gave everybody else a near-death experience.
Yeah.
I think I gave that guy, Buck Martin, a heart attack. They all thought I was dead, but I still didn't care, and I went to the snow. Father didn't even take me to the hospital.
You hear people asphyxiating their own vomit. I almost had that. I actually had that. I was sick.
Thanks, Joey.
And I was drinking too much stupidly as I shouldn't have done. I was around the service. I was PTSD. I didn't care. Drank myself under. Woke up and realized that I can't breathe. I'm actually in my own pool of, it's all over me. I can't. It's in my lungs. My lungs are I went to the bathtub with the rim. I knew how to do it for medical, and I hit my chest against the bathtub as many times as I can to the point I figured I'll just pass out. But next thing you know, I'm waking up, and I got it all out. That's all I know. I'm alive.
Wow, that's horrible.
Yeah. You ever have vomit in your lungs? It's not.
Now,
I had it come out my nose before. That was pretty nasty. But
now, one of Bob's near death, maybe called near death or not. We're in the mountains. Of course, we're always in the mountains. You shouldn't be doing this, people. My uncle Johnny put 2 people on a motorcycle, not just him. He put 2 people. So my uncle had his son, and then Bob riding on a motorcycle. All 3 of them on one motorcycle. Now we know that is fucking stupid. Only one person should be riding with you on a motorcycle. Well, they were driving on a motorcycle. They hit a rock and they flew off a cliff. Now we knew this because we were all in camp. We saw Bob walking back all dirty, and we're like, "Where's everybody else?" And Bob said they went off the cliff, and Bob landed hanging on the cliff. Now I'm gonna tell you this: it took a helicopter to take my uncle to the hospital, and they moved his neck one way, he would have died.
Yeah.
So they went off a cliff.
Yeah.
And how Bob survived. So basically, Bob, if he didn't come back to camp, if he was knocked out, they would have been dead.
Yeah.
Back to camp, we're able to get help. Now remember, guys, this is back in the day where there were no cell phones. So it wasn't like you called 911. People had to drive CVs to get help.
Yeah, I made it up the cliff.
So I believe that God, for whatever reason, that day saved Bob's life to get the other people's life saved.
Yeah,
Bob should have come back.
This squirrel was jumping from rock to rock, coming up the cliffside, and I had followed vertically, going up like a mountain climber. I was going up, following the squirrel, the gray squirrel. I was literally following the steps of a gray squirrel going up. He jumped on this ledge. Okay, well, I put my foot here, put my foot there, pulled up to that ledge. The squirrel would jump from ledge to ledge to ledge. Now, scientifically, we want to debunk it. Well, the fucking squirrel got thrown off with the rest of us, but he was smart enough to know how to get back up. So I'm following the squirrel back up. So I made it back up, and I made it back to camp. And that's when this is the most important part about the Mandela effect, and I keep throwing it out there about the story, is that Eric and I, after that event happened, had 2 different days, 2 separate days, 2 memories of that day. So Eric shot my uncle's windshield out, great uncle's windshield out. I didn't have that memory of him shooting the window out. And the memory I had was catching a fish with my uncle. So we had 2 different memories of my uncle that same day. I went off the cliff. And I might have went here, dead land, and then went back to living land. Because I had 2 different days, 2 different memories. I would remember Eric shooting out the fucking windshield of a vehicle. I didn't have no memory of that. I asked Eric, remember that fish I caught? Eric goes, what fish? That big ass, it looked like a coelacanth, but it was a freshwater lungfish. Eric's like, what are you talking about? What lungfish you caught? I remember I shot out the windshield. And Eric, I'm like, what are you talking about windshield? I caught the lungfish. Eric goes, no, I shot out the windshield. We had 2 different memories for that day. That day is wiped out with 2 different memories. So does that mean I came to a dead world? I came here, maybe here, the world of the dead, then I went back to the world of the yellow sun? I don't know.
So Joey, what about your near death?
What's up, Joey?
Yeah, near deaths. I've had near deaths plenty as well. Yeah.
What happened to one of your main ones? Your biggest near death one?
I can't really say which one's my biggest. So I'll just say a couple of, because I've had a few that were like super, like, you know, definitely God, Jesus was involved and saved me. But when I was a little kid, I don't remember too much of it, but I was in a swimming pool about 4 years old, and I wasn't supposed to go to the deep end. So I tried to pretend like I could. I had my little floaty around me, and I walked my way along the edge to the deep end. And it was my feet and my hands. I pushed myself out so it could look like I was swimming in the middle. But I turned myself over, and I got trapped in my floaty, stuck underneath the water for like 2 minutes. And my family panicked. They couldn't even come and save me because they were so scared. They didn't know what to do. They were panicking. And luckily, my aunt came home, jumped in and saved me, and here I am. Another time I was climbing up a mountain like an idiot trying to impress a girl. And it was, once we got about halfway up, we realized it was like crumbly, you know, like it was too crumbly. And you know, like, try and go up anymore, you're going to throw rocks and you're going to fall. And you couldn't climb back down either. And luckily, by the grace of God, some of our friends were there. They threw a rope and they hauled us up. We were
They
so
just had a
exhausted,
rope
we
handy.
had a rope around our arm and help each other up. And you know what? That's
Wow.
something that a lot of us truthers have in common is near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And that's part of what I think is what woke us up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it is. I know it is. You don't need to convince me. I don't need to hear data. I was just happy to see data. Oh my God, I don't feel that crazy because now it's data. I share it with everybody else. I always knew that. I always knew that by heart. I knew it, but now it's fun hearing other people say the same thing. Like you're funny that your friend just happened to have rope. Now he probably was at a house. He probably went back for a pack of smokes or a lighter or an ice chest. Hey, I should bring the rope. For no reason, he decides to bring rope that day, and it saves your life.
Well, what happened was he didn't actually bring rope. He heard us. He came and he saw us. He went and he just happened to find in the area that we're at some old rope that was just.
So there was like rope just like planted for you or something.
You have to think, right? You have to think something was there and help.
Yeah, and you know, I've noticed this for a long time because I've heard a lot of truthers say their near-death experiences, and I was always curious, like, is that one thing that we all have in common of the awoken conscious community, that we basically got second, third, fifth, 10th chances at life? And during that process, you know, now it's our responsibility to promote truth, you know, like chosen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I would fall into that category because honestly, I've been relatively safe in my life. I've never broken a bone or anything like that. So, but I definitely just seeing other people around me like dying. I mean, I've seen so many people in my family die. I would say there's probably like 20 people in my life. My mom died. All my grandparents are dead. Aunts and uncles are dead. I mean, just the fact that so many people in my life are dying, it made me curious about the afterlife and things like that. So I started looking into it. My mom had a near-death experience. You know, when she had a heart attack, she actually went to the other side, saw my uncle and my grandma, and dude, it was freaking crazy. And then my stepbrother flew through the windshield, and he had an out-of-body experience. He watched his body die, and then he was like, "Oh, holy crap!" And then someone resuscitated him, and that was that. He went from being an atheist to being a believer in something on the other side. He doesn't necessarily subscribe to any religion or anything, but
Good.
Hey, Charlie, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you, what do you think of this? The day before my father passed away, he died. The day before, we went to visit him, and he said that he saw himself risen from his bed, and he actually saw his mom and dad. And the very next day, he died. Would you call that kind of a near-death experience?
yeah. So I'll give you an example that's almost exactly the same, at least my interpretation of it. My wife's grandma was borderline death, and she had a few heart attacks kind of just like in a row, and then just like she was borderline. She was like, I kind of wonder if she was crossing over and interacting with like, you know, family members on the other side or something. And so basically, and this happens all the time, people that are about to die, you know, they start seeing family members, they start seeing you know, they're like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you," and they're like talking to these spirit beings or whatever, and then they're like, "Okay, I'll come with you," or whatever, and then they're dead. And so my wife's grandma, this is freaking crazy. She's like, she was in a coma basically, and was like completely gone for like, I don't know, 3 days or something, and then all of a sudden she becomes lucid, wakes up. And she says to my wife's aunt, so her daughter Pam, and she's like, "Pammy, I have to go. You need to let me go now." And she's like, "Okay, Mom," or whatever. And then, dude, she died within 5 minutes. It's like she chose to leave. It's like, oh, it's time to go now. So I'm leaving. I'm gonna die now. See ya.
Hey, Charlie, that reminds me of, you know, we're talking about human experiences, but animals and stuff like that too. So there's several stories, and I'm sure we've all heard of it or witnessed it personally too, where a dog is separated from its owner, whether it got lost or not, and it travels for days and days and days, and it finally finds its owner. And once it does, the next day or 2 days later, it dies. You know what I mean?
Oh,
kept alive.
Like it had a will to live.
Until we're ready. You know what I mean? Until we're ready.
It's crazy. Like I believe that our will has a lot to do with our desire to live. And
100%. 100%.
And I don't think science or the medical field would, want to venture down this road of research because I feel like they think it's too spiritually. Am I losing you guys? It seems like everything's processing.
They're anti-spiritual, so they don't want anything to have to even do with spiritual.
Oh, he's losing his thing.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you just fine, Charlie.
Yeah, you're good, Charlie.
Not on his end. He's getting fuzzed out. See, he's getting fuzzed out. It always happens. One of us will get fuzzed out. Poor guy.
Hey, Brother Gypsy, when you were asking me of my near-death experiences, I told you I had plenty of them. Actually, my first one was when I was born because after my parents had 2 children, they were pretty poor. My mom got her tubes tied and burned. And somehow they unraveled and connected together, and I was born.
Whoa!
That's like weird. Yeah. My mom didn't know until she was 5 months, and she just thought, what's wrong with me? She went to the doctor, and they said, "You're pregnant." She went and told my dad, and he goes, "That's impossible." No, you're pregnant.
Yeah, sometimes it ain't gonna be like God's like, "Oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. Correct it." Boop.
Yeah,
we need him at this date at this time, so he needs to be conceived.
Makes me realize we're all meant to be. We're all meant to be. We all have a purpose. Even the procrastinators. Not procrastinators. I don't know the right word for it. The ones who are against.
Are you guys back?
We can hear you.
They have.
I completely lost you guys. I don't know if everybody lost it or was it just me, but.
No, we were hearing you just fine until you just went blank.
Yeah, we made fun of you.
I think my computer's crapping out on me, but it's having trouble processing or something. But anyways, I'm back for the time being, I guess. So, anyways, I didn't even know what I was saying.
Yeah, he got kicked out. Joey kicked in. He kicked in with a story.
Well, Joey finish his story, and then you can jump in right after Joey finishes his story.
Yeah, he was just born. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was just saying that, like me personally, because I had so many of them, so many near death. And Brother Charlie, just like you, I've actually never broken a bone or anything, brother. I've almost died several times. I've fallen down from things and been in serious pain, but not a single broken bone. So I'm guessing those are near death too, even though something didn't happen. It's something miraculous. So I was just basically saying that I think that
maybe it's trauma. I actually, if you look back, when I was 5, I was attacked by a dog. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have a massive scar right here.
Oh, he's probably was killed.
Hey, Charlie, let me say this real quick, brother. That's definitely a near-death experience.
I would have died. Hold on, I got to tell you the story real quick because I was 5. I was walking to the grocery store with my brother, and my brother noticed that our dog was pinned to this old like barbed wire fence or whatever. Through this so back in the days, like it was mid 80s or something like that, we were living next to this field that was like an old rancher field. So there was like these old fences that were kind of falling down with barbed wire or whatever. Well, our dog got loose and the leash was stuck on the barbed wire, and so my brother's like, bring our dog home. Her name was Bluesy. So we ended up, I kind of was trying to, finagle the leash, trying to get it off. And there was this dog, like the neighbor's dog, like several houses down. I could see that it got loose, and it was like, this dog was like violent. Like it would come, like when we walk by the house in the front yard, it was always like, rah, ah! Like freaking out every time we were going across the fence. Well, anyways, like we were in this back lot or whatever that was connected to the backside of all these houses. Was basically just an abandoned field of like this old ranch or whatever. And this freaking dog noticed me trying to, loosen the leash from that fence, and it freaking took off running toward me. And it was probably like, I don't know, a quarter mile away or less. And then I could see it running toward me. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like trying to get and then all of a sudden I turn around and bam, it hits me right in the face and jumps and bites onto my lips. And basically my dog was like half pit bull, half like Dalmatian or something, or lab or whatever. Anyways, that dog was just barely a puppy, like 10 months to a year old. But when that dog started mauling me, my dog started like mauling it back. Like, holy shit.
That's as near death as you can get, my brother.
Yeah.
With intervention.
Not only was my face bit, but it started like ripping my legs. I could literally stick my finger in like the wound where it ripped my leg open. And like it was pretty close to down to the bone. So yeah, you're right. That was a very close call as far as I could have been dead if my dog wasn't there.
Yeah, that's near death. I would call that a yes. Big fat yes.
Yeah.
Pretty bad to get mauled by a dog. It's like, oh man, I was mauled by an animal, but I don't think it was near death. Yeah, it was. You don't always have it's because you don't always have the magical part where you go up and you meet people. No, usually it's a fucking turn. You make a different turn. I had bullets. I've heard the whistle. And people talk about there's a bullet whistle. It makes a whistle. That's how close a bullet come by my head several times. I heard bullet whistles, man. And I to this day I have a tinnitus from the bullet whistles. And I go, and that's my head. There's no way it just fucking missed my head. It's a bullet whistle.
Dude, Joey, that's interesting that you were saying that somebody that has a near-death experience, kind of a brush with death, has some extra perception, which is maybe why we have this desire, this drive to be truth seekers, or we just have the ability to perceive things differently.
Both, I think, my brother.
It's that's an interesting perspective.
I thought this for a long time, and I never made it like a big deal, like how we're kind of talking about it in today's show. But I've thrown this around a lot of times, and every single person, even you, Charlie, brother, every single person that I ask, once you talk to them for a little bit, you find out, aha. It's just that we don't pay attention to it, because just like a woman having birth, 5 years later, she's not going to talk about the pain and the agony. She almost forgets it, right? Same thing with any experience. So we go on through life and we have all of our different ordeals, and then you start to remember, oh yeah, I guess that was a near-death experience. And for you, Charlie, for your dog to protect you when it shouldn't have been able to, that's both near-death.
Like the dog was there for a reason. I mean, it got stuck on the fence. What if the dog wasn't stuck on the fence and I wasn't trying to disconnect it then? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then you think about stuff like this. What if Gypsy Road was killed in his near-death experience and he wasn't here? In the very end, whenever we all meet our maker, I wonder if Gypsy Road will hear, hey, Gypsy Road, if you never were awoken and never did your part to wake up humanity, this is how things would have turned out. Not as good. All of us are pieces of the puzzle, So, and then now that we're all forming a group together and we're not separate, oh man, like this is all of us awakened souls. This is epic.
Yeah, that's the thing in my notes is people had shitty lives. 99.9% of everybody had a real. Now I don't call them shitty. I call them educational, but they were challenging. So the majority of people with the actual people with the Mandela effect that I believe on my believe list, they had a really challenged life, like divorcees, prison. Some of them challenged lives, like things, lost jobs, lost loved ones. Anything emotional that can happen to you that's crappy has happened to a lot of people with the Mandela effect.
Like for a reason.
Like, oh God. It's like we signed on to have the worst life in the fucking world to have. And then towards the end, God's like, okay, you did well with your crappy life. Now it's your turn to get a little something.
So basically, God gave you obstacles to trying to.
Yeah, really obstacles. Yeah, obstacles were insane for some of the story. You can make shows of just the stories on people that have the effect, that actually have the effect. Their lives aren't that good. They're looking penny to penny, most people, losing this, getting jobs handed over to somebody else that wasn't qualified, having that angry moment of punching through walls. I've probably maybe half of the people on the fucking list punched a wall or two. I punched several walls.
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
It makes me wonder how many people with the Mandela effect had it rough. It's kind of nice to have a little bit of a breather now and to get to see a beautiful purple sky now and then. Look at the purple sky up there. That's fucking weird. The moon don't look right today. That's kind of neat. It's a little fun now. It's just a little fun seeing the new change, having a good laugh about the new change here and there, and go, okay, it's entertaining. It's better than what it was. I'm not saying $1 million, but
So remind me, I don't know if I caught exactly what your perspective is on the Mandela effect as far as what is it as far as is it a collective consciousness or is it a matrix type glitch or is it what are you thinking about it?
Me, it's God's codes.
Gotcha.
100%. God's talking. God can't speak English, and not everybody can speak the same language. So the universal language would be math and symbols. And so I've been going off on the B thing. It's my own personal hypothesis. And if you take a B and separate it, basically a B is 13. It's a line with a 3. It's a line with movies. It's a 13. And B, I'm seeing B's symbolism all over the place. I've been running with the B thing. So 13s, with Eric, with Joey, with all these lovely people in the fucking sidebar, even though crazy Brian Stavely's threw fucking people my way, my shit is locked at 113. I'm at 113. It's staying at 113. It's been at 113. We'll go past it. So that 13 haunts me like a freaking plague. So to me, a 13 is basically a B. And so I'm seeing numerologies. I'm seeing codes. I'm breaking down the codes and all this stuff. What does this symbolically mean? Forget about the Mandela effect. If the Mandela effect, what's it mean? What's the code? Break down the code. This has an S. This removed an S. The S is the snake. The snake means knowledge. We're getting knowledge. I don't care what the religion is. It just means knowledge in mythology only, outside of religion. This means this. The T is represented here. All these different.
It's freaking crazy, this stuff you're saying, because this is the next edition in my Patterns of Reality series. That's actually going to talk about how near-death experiences has these patterns that relate to mythology and the symbology and things like that. So it's freaking crazy that you're talking about that.
Yeah, we talked about the remember Jesus in the tree. Now it's mythology. That's what Odin was in a tree. Jesus is now in a tree. All the mythology behind it follows up exactly the same. In this timeline, Saul is now he is a Roman citizen. And in my timeline, he was not a Roman citizen. But in this timeline, he's a Roman citizen, which allowed him to live and not be killed by the Romans when they took over Jerusalem. And James all the other ones got whacked, except for Paul and his people. He's like, these guys are with me. I'm a Roman citizen. he had the proto Bible. They didn't touch it because he's a Roman citizen. He has freedom to worship what he wants. Christianity was saved by the Romans. Happy Roman. So just there it is again with the whole what does this change mean in the Bible? Well, this change means that Paul didn't have the Bible destroyed by the Romans because he himself was a Roman. There's that symbol. There's a lot of symbology. It just answers itself. I always joke about Harley Davidson. Now, most people remember Harley Davidson with a D. I remember Harley Davidson without the D because I had a private pinstriping in my Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson, son of David. Harley David and son of. I'm just putting the codes like that. That's just for me. So I'm putting codes back to like a potentially new king. I don't know if it's fucking Trump. I highly doubt it. But some leader is going to come down somewhere and kick some ass. That's what I'm seeing. Hopefully, get this place fixed.
But it's kind of funny. You talk about you're writing something, and you heard Bob saying something that you're writing about. Bob, what's her name that we interviewed a while back? Larson. I forget her name.
Nice gal, yeah.
We were talking to her. She also said to us on the side that she's writing a book, and what you're saying in our interview we did with her, that you guys are actually in my book.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in your book.
How people are saying that they're writing stuff, and what Bob's saying is actually in it. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah. A whole lot of people don't understand that in mythology there's the Bible. Here's the Bible that has Bible changes. But in mythology also has Bible changes. Really important that people don't understand is only one. Zeus had a daughter, but Zeus didn't have a wife. He didn't conceive a woman for the daughter. He took a piece of his brain out, and he made his own daughter out of his own skull, out of his own brain. And so that was Athena. But then that was it. So everyone knows Zeus had Athena. He had one daughter he made from his own body. But also in this timeline, Dionysus also was also born by Zeus. Zeus never bore a child besides Athena. What's that? Go ahead.
Real quick, I just want to. I want to kind of address as far as like the perception of these characters in mythology. But first, I want to ask, as far as like the definition, because this is another thing I'm actually including in my next docu-series video, Patterns of Reality. Basically, the definition of mythology often has kind of a skewed perception as far as, like people have a knee-jerk reaction. Oh, mythology means it's fake or whatever. But the definition actually says it's a tradition of something that actually continued down the line, and maybe it was embellished in time, but it was a true story. And then also people perceive it to be a false story or a story narrative or something like that. So there's two different definitions of mythology. But the first thing that really sticks out to me is that if it's a true story that is embellished, how much is embellished? So this whole thing about mythology is that I feel that a lot of things in ancient writing kind of follow the same pattern as far as, like the way that people interpret what is being said. So like the whole thing with Zeus, Zeus was a god. He came from, wherever. People will actually say that, he was probably an Anunnaki or something. He was like this creature that descended onto Mount Hermon, like the Book of Enoch talks about, or he basically started intermingling with humans and created hybrid beings, giants, things like that. And it's like this whole thing about, these characters, different cultures are talking about the same things, and I honestly think Zeus was a real person, but maybe he wasn't human. Maybe he was like a freaking extra dimensional creature, Well,
it's the same character. Odin is Zeus. Zeus is Odin. If you look at the pantheons, it's the same characters. Different names, different genre, different location, but the same gods. It's the same mythos. It was like one solid mythos at one time that got retranslated all over like fun storybooks. Superman can be retold 1,000 different ways. You go to a Latin country, Superman's going to look different. They're going to look like machismo, man. When he goes to America, he's going to have blonde hair with a little less curl, He's going to hold a briefcase. He's going to be
Charlie, I agree with Charlie 100% too. I mean, actually, if you study mythology, it's an urban legend that mythology, because it's got myth in front of it, is a myth. But in fact, that was actually their historical record keeping. If you change the words to historical record keeping, then as far as they were concerned, they believed it to be historical record keeping. You can turn, just like conspiracy theorists. Oh, now we're not true because they call it, just the difference of label. They didn't call it mythology. Our reversion, our renaming of it.
It's interesting. I actually feel like in a lot of ways, when they actually make things kind of embellished, I think that somehow they're preserving the information for people that know how to decode it. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'll even venture to say that the Bible's written that way. A lot of people would actually say, no, it's the inerrant word of God, and there's nothing that it can be interpreted one way or the other. It's absolute. But the reality is, I don't know if a lot of people even know how to interpret it, because I feel like there is mythology written into the Bible. That's just the way I see it. If you think of the story of Adam and Eve and the serpent and things like that, it just sounds like mythology to me. There's a lot of things. And I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm not saying that Adam and Eve weren't the first people. Maybe there were other civilizations that lived on the earth before that weren't human. I think that there's I think that there's a lot of archaeology that points to there being. Did you see the Bright Insight video that was just posted last week or this week? Oh, okay. So Bright Insight talks a lot about ancient archaeology and stuff like that. And he basically pointed out the patterns of how all over the world they have a lot of the same, things, like little nubs on the rock carvings and stuff like that, and the arches and all kinds of different architecture that is similar across the world, over the seas or whatever. So there must have been some sort of world communication back then. And this whole thing about Christopher Columbus is bunk. He wasn't the first. I mean, obviously he came here and saw a bunch of people over here. So how is he accredited, for having discovered this area? It's stupid.
Well, remember, we also have the Mandela effect. Now, I went to school for archaeology. That's what I was with the school for college for. And so I'm seeing Mandela effect archaeology. Here's this way. Mandela stuff I've never seen and heard before. There's evidence of Romans in South America. There is evidence and artifacts being rolled around from Romans in South America. Okay, so I'm having all these problems figuring out how did they, but then here comes Joey and fucking Brian going, oh, by the way, the earth is smaller and flat. I go, wait, hold on. Let me look at this for a second. Let's put this together. Hypothetically, I'm here in this place. Look at the globe. Everything is now easily you can go anywhere now. In the scale that it's in this place, you can go anywhere. The Chinese can go to South America now. You can go anywhere. The lost tribes of Israel could have went to the United States in this place. This could go here. The Silk Road is now smaller. You could go anywhere. People are from all over the place on the back of this turtle now. Because of the now smaller topography, it's much easier to travel everywhere. So this place is completely different than back home. There is evidence to support civilizations old and ancient from all over the place. Now, I'm even debating the fact that things are not 1 million years old. I'm starting to think things are about maybe at the most 30,000 now. I'm not thinking millions no more. No more. I'm thinking
and Charlie too. Yeah. In the Bible, a lot of people, I believe you 100% that myth plus maybe not being able to interpret it correctly because of dogmas, right? But here's me, okay? I can't say I know the truth because none of us really know the truth about the Bible. You know what I mean? Like we're all guessing. So here's what I believe through my research and years of it. I think that there's accidental urban legends in the Bible. Like, for example, when they say that Adam and Eve were the first persons that God ever created. Well, the Bible doesn't actually say that. In Genesis 1, it said that God created the heavens and the earth and animals and land and human beings. Then the next sentence says, and then God created Adam and Eve. And then if you look further into it, you have Cain and Abel, right? Cain slays Abel. And then when Cain is afraid to go out to the rest of the world because it says they, implying multiple amounts of people, will surely kill me. God says, no, I will give you a mark that will not allow them to kill you, and their death will be 7 times worse, right? So when you do it, the math in your head, and you go, wait a minute, in the Bible that we're quoting anyways, it says that God created people to be fruitful and multiply. And then God created a special human being in the East in a garden called Eden. Well, if you're not listening to the dogma you've always been told, well, then God right there in the Bible says he created an abundant amount of people. And then after that, he created Adam and Eve in a special garden. You know what I mean? So, and who are the Gentiles? Who are the Gentiles? The Gentiles are the original aboriginals of Earth, all the different aboriginals of Earth. So there's so many dogmas in the Bible.
That is
in the Bible that we have because it's been passed down to us century after century after century. Just like in the book of Noah, right? Everyone says, oh yeah, Noah warned everybody for years and they never listened to him. They mocked him, right? You read the Bible and God says, he never asked anybody to warn anybody, that he didn't want them to be warned because he was trying to kill everybody except for Noah. And no Bible verses in the Bible ever says that that Noah was mocked for him building it, or that he actually warned anybody. But it's a dogma. And so
I sense the Mandela effect coming on here.
Probably.
There's unicorns.
We're living in a matrix. We're living in this crazy matrix, and our reality creates our perception creates reality. If you can't, you can. If you think you can, the placebo effect. So it's a good question of, is our collective consciousness creating? I mean, we're just guessing here. we're guessing, and we're like an internet hive mind, throwing our ideas together, trying to come to conclusions.
Oh, by the way, unicorn is Latin for single horn rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros. I already thought about that. Yeah. Well, back during the cold, archaeology. Back during the climate, before the climate, it was freezing cold and the ice age. Well, rhinos had hair. So literally, if you could domesticate a rhino, if you could take a baby rhino and somehow separate him from the rest of the pack and domesticate him. Can you imagine how many carts that one freaking animal could pull? It's like a tank. It would be the ultimate freaking animal to own with a hairy ass rhino pulling carts domesticated. I was like, can you domesticate a rhino? I don't know. Maybe over some generations. You maybe you had a group that domesticated dogs, cats, domesticated cows. Why not domesticate a rhino over years? That thing would probably be strong. Pull carts like crazy. Nobody would mess with it.
Yeah, and I could see how in time, like people can perceive like a horse because I mean, like it's a four-legged animal. A rhino is a four-legged animal or whatever.
Covered in hair, head covered in hair.
That goes back to the whole perception thing, and like going back to Adam and Eve real quick. I mean, Adam means man, so maybe it was just a story to try to point to man, quote unquote Adam, being this embellished type metaphor of what mankind was or womankind for that matter, and I feel like maybe this incursion of according to the Book of Enoch, there was these Watcher class angels that descended onto Mount Hermon and basically came in and intermingled with humans. So I believe that maybe. And I don't want to necessarily say this is the case, but what if that was related in some way to the recreation of humans, which is what you're saying, Joey, I believe. But
well, you know what, too? Speaking of like unicorns and giants and stuff like that, when you look at old maps, like real old maps, the ancients drew in actually unicorns. They had horses with horns on their head, which blows my mind. And they also included areas on the flat Earth map where there was the land of giants, the land of et cetera, et cetera. So I believe that our ancients did have this technology. We're a species of amnesia. As we think that they were in the past and now we're getting smarter, it's actually the exact opposite.
Yeah, look at all the monolithic structures with the stones that even like cranes of today can't even move. I mean, what was moving these large freaking boulders?
Geopolymer technology. It wasn't even moved.
See, the Ark. To think about it, the Ark of the Covenant had something in there. I think that maybe that technology was preserved in that.
Well, you didn't watch our video last Friday?
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Our show last Friday, the picture of the thumbnail is the Ark of the Covenant. Bob did a whole thing for an hour on what's inside it.
It's a beehive. It's a beehive. It's a beehive with the royal queen bee. It's a whole story. I did research.
Don't tell him. He has to watch it.
I didn't guess it. I did research up to that. Yeah, it's a beehive. It's literally a beehive. That's what it is. Based off the clothing, based off the archaeology, which is the clothing, the antiquity, all the things they had, the style and stuff they had, what they can do to people, how they lay people waste, how they can kill people because if you're allergic and they're brought into the area, you'll be allergic. So how they can lay waste, open it up and lay waste the whole areas, bees can kill, and also produce life. But I did a whole thing on it. I've been doing research on the bees.
Yeah. Watch that video from Friday. Watch it. You'll enjoy it.
You'll enjoy it. Hey, I actually had a post today for some lady, really nice gal. She goes, I went over all your stuff. I've looked at your research and trying to follow up where you say to follow up, and so far you're nailing it. I said, well, thank you, but debunk first. Don't just follow it. Debunk it. So find debunk marks and get rid of it, so I can get rid of it. I don't want this. I don't want this theory. I want it debunked. So debunk it. So far, this guy says, no, I can't debunk it so far. She goes, it seems to be pretty quality. Right down to the literature saying that the pharaoh is the number one beekeeper. He was called beekeeper, number one beekeeper. Why would he be called a beekeeper if he didn't have bees?
Just a coincidence.
Yeah.
See, Carly, we talk about everything.
Bee symbols on his fucking hat and be called the beekeeper. Why are the priests dressed as beekeepers?
I gotta give you a little theory that kind of relates to bees that I have as far as the concept of kind of how bees operate. You know how they're like a single organism that kind of has little individual contributors, you might say. And but the interesting thing, and ants are kind of the same thing. Like in a colony, you have like different individual like cells, you might say, that are contributing to the larger organism. And I honestly think that something there is like telepathic or maybe chemical. I don't really know, but I think I look at that like it's a pattern that I would call a pattern in reality that shows a signature of a creation. And the reason I say that is because people are in disorder. We don't work together the way that the beehive would. And in a lot of ways, and like when you start seeing cities come up and people gravitating towards cities, they become more liberally minded. This is my political stance, I guess. So as you venture outside of the cities, you start having more people that are more conservative minded. But it's weird to me. Like I'm almost looking at like the collective mind of cities is more like a tumor to me. It's like a mass that's causing cancer. And anything that when you're actually contributing to the environment and helping build up the environment, it's actually going to help humanity grow and expand. So it's better that we actually expand out and not kind of clump up into a city. Because in some ways, I almost look at it like it's a mass or a tumor that's growing on the earth.
Well, that's when you guys talk about it. That's the old go back to the government control thing, the old prison cell. It's a nice prison block, man. It's like Escape from New York. You remember that movie, Escape from New York? You guys watch that one? It's Escape from New York all over again. Everyone in the city prisons, called the city prisons. Keep them in the city prisons. Keep them in the city prisons. As soon as they get out in the country, they want to have guns. They learn how to fight. They learn how to hide and ambush and guerrilla warfare. We don't want guerrilla warfare. You know who won the revolution and the American Revolution? It wasn't the people from the city. It was the people from the boondocks, man. Was the people from the countrysides. They call them the long rifles. They were old Scots and Irish that lined up out there with them long rifles. They were taking out them freaking Prussian soldiers and the British officers. They said, do not shoot the British officers. It's against the rules of war. Them fucking hillbillies were shooting.
They're like, screw that. Take out the leader.
The leaders. And that's how they won the revolution. The revolution was won by a hit.
Yeah, they did.
And cities too, speaking of them being cancers, for sure, because if you look back, our government used to call people being gathered in houses with walls only separating you and no fence. They used to call it tenement housing. And that was proven to mess up the human family and the human psyche. What are we living in? Condominiums. We're living in apartments. We call them a different name. It's tenement housing. There's zero difference. We're just paying a lot of money for it now.
A lot of money to live in a box. You're paying to live in the freaking beehive, man.
No, I guess in that way, in that sense, I feel like we should be gravitating toward the pattern that we see with like I honestly feel like the bee example is I think that we should work together the way that they do and kind of create that. Honestly, you might say that's communism in some ways, but I think that there's a malevolent approach when communists are trying to create this environment where everybody's contributing together, because really I think it's driven by greed. But anyways, the point is I feel like everybody should come together and work together in the sense, the same way, the pattern of the bees or whatever.
That's our only power. That's our only true power. Separate, we're powerless. The more people that grow in a family, the stronger the family is. And if all citizens of the world, forget countries that are man-made, et cetera, and stuff like that. If we all worked as one, government would be powerless against us. The only reason that a few psychopaths are able to dominate 7 billion people is because they have us living in cities. They have us separate from the families. They have us suing each other. But if we all work together, just like, like I always say, a zebra running in the wild, their strength of not getting attacked by the lion is the fact that they're in a large colony all running together. So us have a separate, we're powerless. That we unite, we win the fight without even having to fight because of the fact that we realize that we are a majority, are strong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, your religion, your supposed country. Those are all man-made. If we unite like the bees and like the zebras and like all other species on Earth, there you go. We lost our power because they continue to separate us as a species.
Yeah. So we are truthers that are coming together and kind of building each other up in our our angle, whatever we're approaching it at. And just real quick, I wanted to tell you guys, I have kind of a direction I want to go to when it comes to ancient archaeology. I've been talking to this guy, World Alternative Media. I don't know if you've ever been to their channel, but he did a thing on the Recot structure, basically talking about it being Atlantis. I don't know. You got to look into it. It's freaking crazy. But so I wish. So if you go on like Google Earth or something and you zoom into like the Eye of Africa. I don't know if you ever heard of that. The Eye of the Sahara, actually. Have you ever heard of the Eye of the Sahara?
The Eye of the Sahara, yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically the Recot structure. So it literally looks like a bullseye or like a dartboard or something. If you zoom in on it, you'll see like this 20-mile across area that literally looks like a perfectly symmetrical dartboard.
Saw it. I saw it like 2 years ago. I saw that come up in archaeology, and I said, "This can't be for real."
The weird thing is, this guy went to the Recot structure. He couldn't see anything that looked anything human. There's no archaeological clues that he could look at. But the thing is, everything deteriorates over time. That's just the reality is that you can see from like a bird's eye view this like perfectly symmetrical structure that's still like remaining. And the thing that's interesting to me about that, there's just so many loose ends. You look at the Bright Insight channel, the last video that he made, it shows the patterns of archaeology across the world. And I'm going to talk about this stuff more on my channel. I'm going to interview this guy that has been basically doing or continuing the work of Ron Wyatt. I don't know if you know who Ron Wyatt is. Not Ron White.
Probably banished in the archaeology world, laughed at by all the archaeologists because he's going to go against the grain. He literally discovered everything. He discovered Noah's Ark. He discovered the Red Sea crossing. Like it's validating the stories of the Bible, you might say. And
I read about those too.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm telling you, like, I feel like it's legit stuff. And I'm gonna interview a guy that has literally been doing. He worked with Ron Wyatt a long time ago, and Ron Wyatt died in '99 or something like that. But I'm gonna talk about that stuff. There's a lot of links. If anybody wants the truth of our reality, just kind of hone in on the archaeology that's suppressed. I feel like there's a modern day book burning as far as archaeology is concerned. I mean, they don't want people to see reality the way it actually is as far as archaeology.
You haven't seen my rant yet, man. I'm still World War I, rated all the antiquity out of freaking France, all the art all over the goddamn Europe, all World War I raid, all World War II. The stealing of all the archaeology fucking stuff. The stealing of everything. Gulf War I, Saddam Hussein robbing all his stuff, stolen. Gulf War II. Blowing up of the actual physical archaeology, all the buildings, blowing them up, out there blowing shit up, blowing the face off Buddha. I'm like, is this a big erase or what? It's one big ass erase. You don't need to be smart. You just need to sit back and go, you know what? And I went to France. I went to the Louvre, people, and those things are fake. Those artifacts are fake. Those are Nazi knockoffs. Where's the real shit? I saw a Sphinx face look like a white man's face from like up in the mountains. Almost a laugh on his face. His face, I said, that's brand new made. That was made during World War II. You could see that it's a goddamn Nazi general's face or some Nazi soldier's face laughing. They carved it. I was looking at all this. I've never seen this a day in my life. I took the class. I've never seen this. I've never seen this. I've never seen. These are made knockoff bullshit. So much garbage there.
Charlie, have you ever heard of the pyramids being built instead of quarried rock, being built out of a cast mold? It's called geopolymer technology.
Not exactly, but what do you mean by that?
So just to put it in short, just assume that what I'm saying is true, just to make you understand it better. What if there was a scientist that proved by looking through a microscope at the casings of the Giza pyramid and found them, to his surprise, to be 96% organic as opposed to 100% organic, and he reverse engineered the ingredients with an acid to separate the ingredients and found out it was sand, water, lime, ash, sodium carbonate, and a couple other ingredients. And he was able to get wood crates, and this is what he's saying the ancients did. They got wood crates. They were woodworkers working with their copper chisels. They made wood crates as carpenters, and they filled it up with this cement-like substance called geopolymer technology using natural organic substances from Earth. And they were able to make like building block Legos to create these pyramids, Machu Picchu in Peru, the stone.
Do you think they built it on like the molds like in place? I mean, or did they move them up there?
I think that they put them in place. So wherever
that makes
they hung
sense.
the bob from the center, and wherever they wanted their new, because with wood you can be precise. So they put the wood casing where they wanted to be. Even the hieroglyphs are perfect. So they put the reverse cast mold inside of the wood itself. So when it came out, it was perfect. And when you think about it, like even look at Petra in Jordan. How could they make Petra in Jordan? Well, it's a reverse cast mold. You know what I mean? You pour all the ingredients on top of it, and then inside you have this perfect mold. Machu Picchu in Peru, how they do it. The Giza Pyramid, how they do it. And this guy named Dr. Davidicus, a French scientist who discovered, looking at the casing of the Giza Pyramid, he actually reduplicated it. So he went to Egypt with a team of 12 people, mixed the ingredients, built wood crates, and people can't tell the difference between the artificial or the real one. He even sent it to laboratories. So who knows? But I believe that theory because it makes a lot more sense. Coring rocks, well, first of all, that's impossible. And then chiseling them, oh, well, then what about the ones that they cracked? They're going to crack some of them. So
there's no way that you could have chiseled that. I mean, there's got to be something else going on.
And why did they find copper chisels? Because they were woodworkers. They were precise woodworkers. Look at the terracotta warriors. How are they so perfect? All their horses and people, cast molding.
Cast molding, yeah. Well, it's the same with some of those caves all over the world. They find these beautiful, like a side of a cliff would have like a building meshed into it. They say, how did they cut into it? Well, number one, just think about it. There was a time when that thing was mud. It was soft mud. It was a thick, workable mud. Now, you could shovel in the rock. But you could shovel in the mud. You could mold, like you're molding a vase. You can mold the side of a mountain to be anything you want with pillars, whatever. It was soft mold. You could dig into the soft, let's say soft mud, a softer mud, but still stable and strong. And over time, it dries. It'll dry into whatever structure it was meant to be, like a vase would dry. They were going right on the side of cliffs. If there was a flood, then there was lots of mud. If there was lots of mud over time, it's still pliable, still workable. You can dig right in the. You can make. How did they make hundreds of tunnels? It was soft mud at one time.
And just look at ash. I mean, look at ash. Look at brick, adobe. You guys know what adobe is, right? When they stack. So look at cement, adobe, and brick. It's a form of alchemy. The alchemy was a real thing. That was their science back then. They added a couple ingredients, ash, lime, a couple of things, and that stuff is able to turn from its soft matter into a hard matter. So they just have this technology and we don't. The
weird thing is, if you see my hat, it says Mr. Mud. The company that I work for is called Mr. Mud, and they basically take concrete and make it. They mold like amazing, like really fancy type, floors and whatnot. But anyways, it's interesting like that we're talking about this because I could totally wrap my head around there being some sort of casted stonework for sure.
It makes sense to me. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to look into this. And now I went to school for archaeology, so I'm looking at it and going, wow, that is kind of an answer because you could make to order. So those weird little shapes, they got this weird rock. How do they make it perfect? Well, shit, if you got a weird shape, you could just mold it to order. And if it's got weight over time it settles. So it's not 100% dry yet. So it would just it would settle itself to the point where you can't get a credit card in there.
Yep.
It's soft and powerful. It's still a little bit wet. So everything's settled into each other like, whoa. Like you take a bunch of dough and make square blocks out of the dough and then make a dome out of it and walk away like 3 weeks later with a mild amount of heat. Well, the heat itself kind of settled into each other. So each thing looks like a perfect match. It was just soft dough.
Same shit.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So, anyways, hey, give me a second. I'm going to go grab my son. He just woke up, but maybe I'll have to wrap up here in just a few minutes. But
we hit the 2-hour mark. We're about to wrap it up. So
sure.
We can let you have your last speak, and I'll let Bob and Joey say their last thing. And then, first of all, we appreciate you jumping on. And I wouldn't mind doing something like this with you maybe once a month, coming on.
Heck yeah.
Because this is fun. I learned a lot today from you.
Honestly, I have a lot of freaking nonsense that most people don't even give a crap about, but I definitely
people in this community does care.
Yeah, I'm just trying to link a lot of the things as far as like information. Obviously, nobody that I talk to as far as flat Earth is concerned, they don't really talk that much about the spirituality aspects of it, unless you're like Rob Skiba or something. You're talking about Christianity's perspective. I'm not saying that I don't want to hear the Christian perspective. I just think that there's a bigger picture, and I feel like that's just one aspect, one piece of the pie. And I feel like as long as you kind of approach this with a little more of an open mind to try to understand things for what they are and not necessarily view it through a biased dogma or whatever, I feel like it's good, and I'm not going to reject any information, whatever it may be. I'm willing to hear everything once, as far as I obviously I don't want to like talk to Lord Stephen Christ about the concave Earth or whatever, but but definitely I looked up that guy's channel like not long ago. He lost a lot of his followers, but anyways, but I do have a lot to say about like the whole Christ consciousness thing now, because I kind of feel like a lot of the end times prophecy or whatever pertained to the collective consciousness, you might say. And I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just trying to open my mind to the possibilities. And so as far as going forward on my channel, I'm going to continue with Contemplating the Cosmos podcast. I'm about to interview somebody that had a bunch of DMT trips, because I want to hear what their perspective on DMT is. Dimethyltryptamine, if you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think
put the disclaimer out there.
Hold on, his sub. I just put his channel in the chat, guys. So click on it, sub him, and then, like I said, if he comes back once a month, that'd be fantastic. So sub him, watch his videos, so we can make this one big, huge, fun community.
Yeah, and I admit, what's that?
I said, come back once a week.
Oh, that would be pretty sweet, man. I honestly try to do something once a week, but to be honest with you, having a kid and having a wife that's pregnant now, it does pose a little more of a challenge. But I definitely
have kids.
I definitely like doing this as often as I can. Usually evenings are good for me, but again, it just depends on your guys' schedule and all that. But
we can always make something work.
Yeah. So, anyways, and I don't know. I mean, I definitely like to talk about, archaeology. I'm going to be talking about that more on my channel. I haven't really done it too much, but I'm really starting to venture down that road. So, but yeah, that's good enough for me at this moment.
No, we'll appreciate you jumping on, and we'll let you go, and hopefully we'll see you again.
All right.
You have a good one.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Dude.
So
right.
Joey, what do you got coming up so people can hear?
Honestly, my what I feel my role is in the community is just to love on everybody, to promote everybody, and if any new information comes up, I'm down for it. But to me, my eyes are wide open, and I love and appreciate you guys tremendously and everybody else who promotes truth. So really what I got going on is the hopes that channels like yours and other people's like Brian Stavely, Karen B, Rob Skiba, Charlie that was just on, we all grow and grow and grow and grow until we become the majority of like-minded people that are here to save humanity. And Chuchu wants to say, my daughter wants to say something to you guys too. Say, Gypsy Road is number one.
Gypsy Road is number one.
Say the earth is flat. Say we never went to the moon.
We never went to the moon.
Somebody in the chat early in the show, actually, I was called out being a shell. So that was interesting.
That means you're making it, brother. As soon as you start becoming called a shill, anybody who's on a regular basis, who's making a difference, other people who don't make content themselves, who don't do video, think to themselves, oh, you must be some type of government agent. How are you so brave? And how do you get so many people to tune in? Well, it has nothing to do with being a government agent. It has something to do with having a pair of balls. So, you know, and people are going to attack you for that and just laugh at it. You know, like people attack me, people attack everybody. And, you know, it's like part of God's plan. Can you continue your path even though your peers, even in your own community, may heckle you? Yeah, of course we can.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. This person was saying I was a shell because we don't know nothing, or we're talking about something about flat Earth. We were talking nothing negative about flat Earth. Like, where'd that come from?
Oh, God. It's like, I'm a fan of Cy Van Dan. I like his show. Because we give the platform for people to talk. Now, he's going to say his share, but that's his show. He's going to make fun of it, but that's his show. But he's giving people a platform, man.
Hey, man, that's what I tell people. He's helping us. He's too stupid to realize he's helping us, but he's actually helping us.
He is helping, and he's funny, makes me laugh. But I look at the material that's presented, and I make my own decision. But I see it. He makes a joke about it here and there, but also that's educational too, because you're seeing how other people will make fun of it. You can expect it. So it's a whole learning curve. So don't even look at the shows like that. Well, that's obviously a show. Well, that show's providing a fucking.
I've been on the show 3 times. I've been on the show 3 times.
Yeah, he'll make fun of me like a motherfucker. I'll laugh with him.
I agree. Well, this guy doesn't understand, because if he watches the show, he understands that we invite everybody on here to speak what they believe in. We don't try to change anybody's mind on the show. It's up to you what you want to believe in.
He says something like, I want to present data, and he blocked the data with some more information. I'm like, okay, dude, you're right. I'm writing it down so I can go double check to see if he was correct. Mm-hmm. So he's only making your sword sharper. He's helping you he's training like a drill instructor. Not good enough. This is bullshit. Okay, well, I'll try harder. You know, I mean, people like that. Even shills provide a platform.
Yeah. In fact, Tuesday, I'm supposed to have this guy on. His last name is Crawford. This guy is part of no MANDELA community. He's part of no flat Earth community. He's against the. Oh my God, what's this? Brian Stavely?
Oh God.
Brian Stavely. This guy's part of no community. He's like against the planet. Or he's against the government, so he's going to come on so we get to ask him questions, because he's not part of no community. So we should be Tuesday. Should be interesting. Hello, Brian. What's going on with you?
My daughter has a message for Brian Stavely. Real quick. Can you say I love you, Brian Stavely?
I love you, Brian Stavely.
Hey, just in time.
Uncle Brian Stavely.
Well, there you go.
Huh?
So you guys you got the floor, Brian. You got the floor.
No, I didn't know. Are you guys getting off? I just figured I saw the link was in the chat, and I saw Joey was on, and I didn't want to step on your guest, but I saw that he's done. I figured I'll just jump in and say what's up. I wasn't listening the last 15, 20 minutes, so I don't know if you guys are getting off. My bad.
Brian Stavely, any show you jump on, you add to it. You're a bridge in the community, so you're an asset anytime you jump on. So
what was up with the Aunt Jemima look today? Is that just like last minute to fit in so you'd have a hat, or is it your new look?
Well, I like the hats. You know, I wanted to join in the hats. And I'm a construction worker, so we put our shirts on our head all the time to save our necks and our heads from the sun. So.
There was a lot of hat comment in the chat.
So, Brian, is it cold in that room? Because I noticed you had a tight black T-shirt on.
It's actually a little better than usual today. I was about to go out and smoke a blunt, but like it's too hot for a sweatshirt, so I put this thing on.
That's not. You should get a black turtleneck, man. I would roll turtleneck if I were you. You're popular enough to do it.
I'd look wicked fucking gay with black turtleneck.
And put a little chain right there, man.
It'd be good for you, so you can make fun of me, motherfucker.
Give me a target, man. Give me a target. Everybody's too damn cool. They dress too freaking nice. I can't make fun of nobody.
Dude, this is like a $20 just like cheap ass thermal shirt that was like on sale at Filene's. It's nothing fancy.
Secondhand store. $10.
Brian is looking like a stud these days. Woo! Good looking man.
I don't know about all that.
That's all I hear from the girls in the truth community is like because Brian Staley's single. He's like the most eligible bachelor in the truth community. Like all the girls are like goo goo gaga over Brian Staley. So
I don't know where you're hearing this. This goes right over.
He's like the Vin Diesel of the Flat Earth Mandela community. You know what I mean? So,
I'm like Vin Diesel, except I'm 5'4".
5'4". Did you guys know that Brian Staley's feet don't even touch the ground? It's true. True story. His balls are too big. He actually has to like do this weird thing where he puts his feet forward and then
Is that a medical thing? Is it like a groin cancer?
It's like elephantitis of the testicles.
remnants of the men of renown. He has remnants of the men of renown.
We put him in a microwave so he can get cancer in the balls and he can smoke weed legally. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that was in South Park when Stan put his balls in the microwave.
Oh, so and they're all bouncing on it.
So he can get a medical card for marijuana.
South Park got brought up the other night, and I was talking about an episode, and so many people didn't know what I was talking about. Do you remember the episode when like their faces were literally assholes? That was awesome, dude.
It's out. That's bad. I love South. There's a lot of residual in South Park.
Oh yeah,
it's so much. It's people like, well, what's the residual at? Anything with to do with satire, any satire videos, any satire cartoons. I always tell people if you want to see the old swastika, go see Dr. Seuss. Go get all old Dr. Seuss propaganda books when he worked for the United States government. The old American flags are there.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah. Go get anything that from Dr. Seuss when he worked with the government for propaganda only stuff. All the old military stuff. All the old tanks are in there. All the old bombs. You're like, wow.
All those TV shows like South Park, we know South Park, Family Guy, Simpsons, and a lot of people say are the Simpsons connected to the Mandela effect because they have so much. I say no. I say the Simpsons are full of predictive programming and these things that we've seen. But as far as the Mandela effect, let's face it, they do parodies. That's what the Mandela effect residue is, and they've been on for 30 years. So of course they got the most. Yeah. That's my opinion.
No, that's how I approach it. I approach it with satire. I approach it with taking the piss out of stuff because it stays. It don't change. So if you take the piss out of something or you satire it, it don't change. Like I've got stuff like residuals. Like I had a Mickey Mouse with the suspenders. Like, where'd you get that residual? Because it was made in China by a private company. So anything private company will have the old satire. So if you had a Ford logo and they didn't, too many orders were going out for the Ford. So Ford shipped it off to China to have these things made. They shipped it off to Brazil to have these little keychains made. Well, those are the ones that didn't change. It was the ones that was contracted out. My leather jacket has the original flag on it. I'll show you guys what we're talking about. Here's the original flag.
Right before it flipped this way? Or you mean the stripes original?
The stripes original. You'll see this. Because what it was is an American-made jacket. However, they had a contract out with Italy. Thank God they did. So there he is, a little ass tag. Move this out of the way. But you guys will see your result.
Solo.
Oh. That tag right there.
You've been drinking too much.
Yep.
See the red stripe?
I do. I got one to show you too after you're done.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Here we go. Let's see what you got.
Oh, you'll like this one. You might have seen it, but you might have missed it. So I'm going to show it anyways. Once my pitches open up. Sorry, give me a second.
No problem.
My fucking computer sucks a lot of dick.
Well, lately, they all have. We've been pushed back against by some evil shit.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck's going on with my computer.
No, we had a.
Yeah, I get no notifications. I get no notifications that Brian Staveley's live, even though I'm subbed and belled. I get no notifications that Gypsy Road is live, even though I'm. I had to go fishing for you guys, Gypsy. Today on your show, I had to go to your actual channel, go to see your videos to see that you're live, even though I'm subbed and belled. It makes no sense.
I get a bell for recommendations channels to watch, but not the actual channels you put to watch.
We shifted. You guys know we shifted. We shifted. I had 100% evidence we shifted. Even this picture, I don't even have a picture. I only have a picture of me smoking. It's not there. All my stuff changed. There's a thumbnails have changed. The controls I've watched, their video thumbnails changed. Even a certain website, wasn't a certain website where we look at, I have a roommate that looks at all the CERN stuff. It's all changed. The picture changed.
Remember last night, Bob? You were on. You were on last night, and I'm like, "Holy shit, Bob's on!" I didn't even know it.
I had a lot of cool material, or attempt at it.
You're just getting a black screen from me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see your mouse moving around.
Yeah. What the fuck, man? The pictures won't load up on the screen.
See, I've had computer weird things happen already. A lot of stuff has changed. Debunk me on it. Just debunk me on it. That's fine.
I see your pictures there.
Changed. A lot of sites that I use for controls have changed. And even again, my little picture I have on here, Eric, wasn't on there. I had to type in a name.
Something's coming in. There it is.
All right. So this is the sign that started the whole Centerville thing, with my neighborhood. Okay. Yeah. Now this sign that they used to say Centerville, it changed to Centralville, right? The whole neighborhood, nobody's taking the update. You guys heard the story. It's in the middle of a veterans park, surrounded.
And of course, we lose them.
Yes, frozen. Oh, hold on.
Hey, you guys remember our show?
You got it back. You got it back.
The flag has the old flag in the middle of the veterans park.
I like that. I've seen that. I love it.
On the monitor. Here, here's a better shot of it. It'll fucking load up here because there's the other side of it, right? Look how clear it is.
Let me go solo.
There it is. There it is.
How's that for residue? That's in the middle. Look at the flag behind me, guys. The flag behind me is new reality, but on the sign, that's the shiftiness focus of this fucking whole Centerville thing. The flag is the old reality.
Oh,
wow.
They would say to me, why am I such a prick about that red stripe? Because I was on a ship, and you have to salute the ensign coming on, and salute the ensign coming off, and coming on, and coming off, and coming on. You know that fucking flag. Mm-hmm. You know that flag. That's beautiful. God, I love that flag. I love it in my jacket. I love it. At least I got it in my jacket too. Like, so God let me have this, and then God gave Brian that so he don't forget. I think it's cool. Never forget, man. Never forget that flag. The actual American flag. Not Donald Trump's version with the white stripe.
What about the stars? I know that you have a different memory of states than I do. I remember 50, but what about the alignment of them? Do you remember them all straight before they all went all like all set?
No, they weren't straight. They were staggered. I think they were staggered. But look at this guy. They were staggered, I think. Let's see, because this guy is like pretty much how I remembered it. So we'll take a look at it. We'll go back to it. No, these are lines, so you're right with the staggered. I think they only put 50 on there. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think there was only 50 on the flag, though. That's probably why everyone has 50. There was only 50 on the flag ever. Mm-hmm. It wasn't 52. So there they are lined up perfectly like the way you describe them.
Yeah, that's how I remember them, but now the flags I see have it staggered.
The only reason why I always say it was 52 in my memory is because it was you can check it out now because of Washington, D.C. District of Columbia was a state in my time. I remember it being a state because I worked there. It's the Smithsonian Institute. So it was a state. It wasn't sovereign.
Back when it was the Institute and not the Smithsonian Institution.
So it was sovereign now. It's sovereign now. That means they can do whatever they want there. That's why they have ping pong
Well, we
pizza.
know that. I mean, you're over in the UK. You know Inner London. You know the Vatican City. You know Washington, D.C. It's all the same. Yeah.
So I remember, this is just me, so I could be wrong. I remember D.C. is one of the states, the missing states, and Cincinnati is the second missing state. And I could be wrong. Only because of the quarters. When I worked at the Museum of Flight, when you go down and all of it, you sit down in the jet engines, you sit down in all the airplanes, people drop change, quarters all the time.
There's
And
so many people that remember another. It always boggled my mind, but now being several years into this, it's like you kind of know how this thing works. It doesn't shock you as much, but still, the whole 52 states thing just blows my mind that people remember it that way. But I don't doubt you. Obviously,
yeah, no, it's probably where you were taught in school.
Yeah. I'd never heard of 52.
Because who thinks of DC as because you have Maryland, so Maryland's a state. Done deal. Mark it off. 50. Maryland's a state, but no one
not a good state.
Well, they didn't think about DC within Maryland has its own sovereign state at the time. It was a state. So it was Maryland, and that little spot was a state, but nobody ever recognized it as a state because who thinks about DC? I mean, Washington, D.C., they think of Maryland, but it actually was its own sovereign state. It was a state. But now it's not a state. It's just sovereign. So oh, okay. That's weird. So that's why there's no incorrect answer for 50 and 52, I found out. Nobody knows about D.C. I mean,
what about Puerto Rico and Guam?
No, those are territories.
Yeah.
Hey, Gypsy, we got to get going because I got to feed my daughter over here. So thanks for having me on the show. I love you guys.
Oh.
Brian Staveley's BALLS, I'll just say that, are full of helium. They're full of helium. I'm his #1 fan. And I love you, Brian. Thank you for jumping on too. But I got to get going, guys, to get my daughter some food and get her ready for the day.
No problem. You have a good one.
Can I get you with one, Mandela? Can I test you on one thing, Joey?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, go for it.
Spell the nation of Colombia.
COLUMBIA.
And your Mandela affected big time on that because it's not spelled that way anymore. Even though DC is still spelled that way, now it's Colombia with O's, no U. It changed a while ago. I did a video last year, but it's COLO instead of COLU. Go look at it, and you can find tons of residue with different brands of Colombian coffee and stuff like that. Yeah, look at the nation of Colombia. Bring it up on screen, Gypsy. Just type in the country and bring up the spelling so we can see it. It's crazy.
Is that the Columbus?
Yeah, it's Colombia now, not Colombia. Colombia.
The best thing in Colombia, you can sniff with your nose.
We got the best fucking cocaine in Colombia, man.
It's so bad. Remember the bad things. That's the problem with Mandela affected people. They all watch the same shows. They all watch the same old gangster movies, cartoons, freaking the worst of the worst, the B movies. Well, I don't remember that movie. The craziest shit. There's a
right. COLOMBIA.
Oh wow, that's like you know what that reminds me of? The fucking the space shuttle. That's how they spell on the space shuttle.
This is crazy, right? Colombia always had a U in it, dude. I know it did.
Yeah,
they did.
Columbia Space Shuttle, they specifically spelled it like that.
And I did a little research, just enough into it, where this isn't like the English spell it one way, but the Spanish people spell it the other, kind of like Brazil. No, this is how it's spelled both ways. There's no U in Colombia now.
No, it was a U.
And you know what the debunkers will say, right? You guys are mixing it up with Columbia University.
No.
Because we gotta have an excuse for everything,
They've said it to me. They've said that to me. I fucking told them to go fuck off.
Look, check this out. Just like the rat or the mouse on the SpaceX thruster, it's obvious to anybody, but they'll still say, "Oh, it's just a piece of debris," or blah blah blah, duct tape, or deniers are going to deny. That's why it's up to people like us to the strongest weapon we have is repetition.
Yeah.
Just repeat it. Get more people to understand it. Repeat it. Because it's the truth.
Yeah. I got a residual. That's kind of cool that Brian's on here. You guys ready for a cool residual?
Yeah, what do you got?
In the Bible. This is an 1881 Bible. It's all leather bound, little S1. I got it from this little work camp they have over here. But check this out. You guys want a residual? Let's see if you guys can see it.
Where exactly on the page? I mean, I see the pink tape, but am I reading the middle, the right? Wineskins. Wineskins. Yeah, I see wineskins. What Bible are we looking at?
You guys see that?
That's a KJV or?
This is it's an artifact. This is the New Testament Revised Version, Oxford.
No, as far as the more popular versions that we've been looking at, has wineskins gone pretty much universal at this point? I mean, wine bottles.
Yeah.
It's not just the KJV, NIT. It's widespread.
No, they're pretty much gone. I was shocked to find this, man. I was shocked. I got to go through. This is an artifact. I found it at an old kid camp area where they used to work these kids in the mill, this slave mill over here. Like put all these orphans in a slave mill, but they gave them all these little Bible books. Their school, their life. They lived there. They slept there. They ate there. Their life was in the fucking slave mill here in England, and they gave them these little Bibles, little leather bounds. It's kind of cool that I got it. I'm going through it for all the residuals, but I was shocked when I saw wineskins. I go, no, here's the old wineskins.
Nice.
I could feel throws on me.
There's the old wineskins, man. That's kind of freaking cool, right in there. That's cool. I'm gonna hopefully.
So weird.
Eric's frozen on my screen. Is he frozen for you, Robert?
Yeah, he is frozen.
It's frozen. Every time Brian comes on, I get frozen. I'm serious.
All right, time to porn bomb the show. Fucking woohoo!
Short show. Let's get fucking naked. Let's swear a lot.
Let's blast out the Jews. Fucking everything.
Show a picture of a penis. Hold on, let me show a picture of a penis.
What did you say about Sandy Hook? No, just kidding.
Say all the bad words. Say all the fucking. Say every bad word you could have on here. So Eric's like, hey, don't say that. And the algorithms are going crazy. We're like fucking spiders around it, just eating it. This thing's guaranteed to be shut off.
Yeah.
Eric got kicked his ass off. That's fucking hilarious.
You did a show last night? What did you do? What did you do?
Last night I did mine on the CERN. I talked about we had a shift, and another person confirmed the shift. So we went to the CERN page, and we went through the page where you can walk. It's designed for you to go into the site or into the room with little arrows, like you can see the satellite one where you can go into the office building. So we walked through the office building with me using my fingers, drunk and stoned, trying to get through the corridors. And we're looking at the clocks, which were coming out to numerical values. And we're going into the computers and looking for any kind of evidence that they purposely laid out for people to find.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. So I always have a bunch of people that like
code. So it's like a virtual tour on their website. Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah. And so it to me, my memory, and I have an amnesia problem, so I know it's changed. All of the pictures had changed in that picture, in that little virtual walkthrough. People that were never there were there. People in the hallways that were never there. Then we double checked the chalkboard where everyone was standing, and it still says exactly the same, 2012. So all this is in 2012. So I walked it through my video. It's only an hour long, under an hour this time, because they kicked me off, dude. They kicked me off. I swear to God on my life, may fucking lightning strike me down during the apocalypse. I ain't lying. Kicked me off. The whole thing crashed. So we were in there, and this individual I was talking to says that they wanted to see a set of 4 papers that were up against the wall. Mm-hmm. I said, really? So I finally navigated. You'll see where it is. And I found the 4 papers. And they were propped up against the wall for you to zoom in and look at, like a clue.
And what was on them?
I zoomed in to look at these live, zoomed in to look at these papers. The whole thing went boop. And then the corner says offline. Kicked me off.
Wow.
Kicked me off. I was like, oh, fuck. Like the second I found those papers we were looking for the whole time, and I got to zoom in on them, kicked me off. I'm not doing it for ratings. I'm not doing it for subs. It kicked me off. You talk about a cliffhanger. And so, I have it on there. You guys can watch the last 5 minutes of it where I'm trying to find them.
Did you try to go back on?
Huh? No, it kicked me off. I couldn't go back on. By that time,
wow.
Person was already gone. So
I'll have to check out your video after. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, you're gonna be just. It was short this time. It's me inside CERN, so you're gonna see where I'm playing around a little bit, but I'm kind of high, so it's hard to navigate where this person wants me to go. So I'm like, where do you want me to go? What room is this? And This person's naming out certain things within the peripheral, what you're seeing in there.
Yeah.
They left a lot of clues. So don't go into a hole, because a lot of these things, they leave it there on purpose just to spin you wrong. We know that. But it was just fun seeing what they put out, because they left all new shit. There's a whole new shift. All of that CERN area in that walkthrough is all different. Even people sitting in different chairs. So I was like, holy fuck, from the last time this person told me to look at it. I remembered.
Which was how long ago? When was the last time you looked at it before that?
Oh, God, not even a month ago. Not even a month ago. Shit, yeah, barely a month ago. And then we had this weird, it happens around the full moon, but it's a few days ago, I saw 2 new phone boxes. The old, I'm American, and over here, it's easier for Americans to look at phone boxes because they're cool to us. We're not from Britain. So when we see their phone booths, we're like, oh, that's cool. We like their phone booths. So me being weirdos, I like phone booths.
Yeah.
So people here on the street, they don't know. They walk right by thinking the thing's been there forever. I go, there's a fucking new phone booth. 2 of them back to back, 2 phone booths.
Yeah, it'd be different if the phone booths disappeared. It's not like they're gonna add phone booths in 2020.
Yeah, and I swear to God, I followed up with science. I'm not stupid. So I look at the bottom and see if they just put it in there. Yeah. And the other person I was with went into the shop that's from here, that's from Manchester, went in the shop and asked the barber guy that sits right across the way, how long have those phone booths been there? And the guy says 30 years.
Wow.
As long as my shop's been here. Oh, no fucking way. And I walk the dog there every other day to buy cigarettes. It's a favorite little shop. I get cheap cigarettes. And so I know the spot because of cigarettes. Because I know the spot. So I said, there's 2 new phone booths. Holy shit. You look inside, it looks like junkies have been in there. Just dirty old phone booths. But yeah, so I go, there's a shift. We had a big one. Something happened. So then we went back. Person contacted me and says, have you been on CERN yet? I said, no. Let's do CERN. Got it on Saturday night. Popped it up. So let's go through CERN. Boom, different. Holy shit. Look for clues. Because CERN likes to play games. They like to play games and put little things. I don't think they're doing dick. I think there was a CERN in our timeline that did something, but not this one. These guys are playing games. But in our timeline, and it wasn't where anybody could see it. It was probably some fucking warehouse down in Area 51 in some basement fucking around.
Yeah, like if they had anything, something like a time machine or whatever you would want to label something like that, they're not going to put it out and go let Tom.
No. And they're not going to have Tom Hanks pose in front of it either.
I just said they're not going to.
Tom Hanks posing in front of CERN, dude. Ooh,
yeah, I was about to go smoke before I jumped on. I'm going to go smoke. You guys still going to be on in 5 or 10 minutes? Or you getting?
I actually gotta get going.
All right, cool.
But what do you got going on today, Brian? Any shows today, tomorrow morning, or anything?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go live tonight and take some calls. At least not for another couple hours because Globe Buses is still on and so many people are there. So I'll wait till after, maybe like 8 o'clock or something tonight, Eastern.
Cool. We'll check it out. Yeah. I listened to your channel, and I'm gonna be honest with you, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the cool thing. When you're with your gal, her name is B. What's her name?
Karen
B.
Yeah, she's got the calmest, kindest voice that you can hear when you're laying back listening to your show. Then you get on like the fucking lollipop kids. I wake up a little bit, and then she gets back on. She's calm. I'm like, oh, cool. Sit back a little bit. She talks real calm, and then the lollipop fucking. Brian.
That's all right.
You guys have a balance. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It keeps you from it keeps you from going into REM sleep, so you can listen all night long. She's calming, where she keeps you at a nice, comfortable, this listening level. And he jumps in and keeps you out of REM.
Until she falls asleep on the air. And then you're left with like the other night she fell asleep on the air. You're left with me and fucking Truth Seeker fucking yelling all night. you ain't getting no sleep because she's loud like me. Jen's loud like me. She don't fuck around. You wind her up, she's fucking boom, 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 boom.
She's so calming. You guys balance each other because you get excited and start talking, and you get a little bit of excitement in you. But then she comes out all gracious and calm and just relaxed, and it kind of brings brings it, balances it back out. It's a nice duo, by the way.
Bob, you make great shirt ideas. Brian, the Lollipop Kids, the Milk Kitty Pilots. I mean, it's
Pilot Titty Milk or Titty Milk Pilot. Titty Milk Pilots, man. Yeah.
Mike Obama has a dick. I mean, you know, that's always a hot seller.
Oh man. Well, you guys heard Brian's doing the show tonight, so get ready for it. That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
I got no plans. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'll just open the phone and wing it if anything. So.
One day I do gotta call in on your show.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the truth straight up, right? So I want to have you on for an awakening interview, but I had already thought about that like 2 months ago. But at the same time, you started to get interested in all the flat Earth stuff, and I know that you're taking in a lot of new information. So I want to let it kind of fester a little bit and get your interview in like another month or two. I just want you to know that I do want to interview, but I want you to, I just want to wait a month or two and get your perspective on things and where you've come in the last few months and everything.
Well, I never even thought about that, but one day I got to call on your phone. I like your phone sound. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, man. You could call in anytime, bro.
It's cool. It's a cool show. I like to call it show. It reminds me of
awesome. It's awesome.
The show, but like from the East Coast. But if you could tolerate East Coast accents, it's pretty good. I learned that in the military. It was really hard.
I'll tell you the truth. He's got a good point there. They actually, when I went to broadcasting school, not only did they tell me I had the worst Boston accent in a school in this area that they've heard in 25 years, but they told me that they train you to lose your accent, because if you're going to get a national job being a sportscaster, nobody wants to hear an accent. They want you to have a middle of the road accent. They don't want you to have a really strong Southern accent. They don't want you to have a really strong Northeast accent. They want you to, and you do train yourself, and I was training myself to lose my accent on the air, but I gave up on that quick. I mean,
it's your signature. That's your signature.
Yeah. Well, this was before. This was before this. This was sports radio days. I wouldn't do it now.
Yeah. It's a signature sound, man, and nobody can mimic that. I mean, we got Valley pigeons, so like our California Central Valley and the coastlines. I like my pigeon. I like your pigeon. When I hear people with pigeon, that's how I can tell people that are from back home. They speak a pigeon. They don't speak local shit. I don't know what this fucking local people speak. I don't know what the fuck but I can hear pigeon, home pigeon. It's a cool sound. And the old jokes, the old slang, the old fucking the things. They remember all the old jokes, man. Soup Nazis, they remember the old joke stuff. But they don't speak the old home pigeon. I don't trust them. I won't fuck you from local accents.
Nachiketa says he would buy a Mike Obama has a dick t-shirt.
Turn ideas.
She's hung like a Clydesdale, man. She's hung like a Budweiser Clydesdale. Ooh. I had a buddy in the military, Eric. I don't want to say his name out loud. He told me he's an Army commander, and he knew some Marines that were guarding her, dude. And he told me that they said homegirl was packing. He told me that they said that they had to. You can't be in a certain area while I guess things are being untouched. I said, no fucking way, man. There really is a chick. Michelle's a chick.
You mean a guy? You mean Michelle's a guy?
Yeah, a guy. Yeah, I mean, a guy chick, a chick guy. She. I guess probably from way back. Probably had hormones from the day one, from before puberty. So came out the full thing. Like, oh, damn! You talk about being red for a job.
I tell everybody, thank you guys for all jumping on, watching today. It's kind of interesting to do on a weekend. We had never done one on a weekend, so it's kind of cool to see that people do watch us on a weekend. And Brian, thank you just for jumping on. That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
And I'll see you tonight on your show, and then I'll see you guys later. All right, have fun.
Laters.
Just one touch and I'm lost inside your love. Just one touch means more than words.